So, boom, baddie gets wrecked by a silver-haired chick. Silent. Just thinking how hot she looked while ending him. System pings. New ending? Declan had to croak. The dude running the show cheered. Nailed it. 0 bugs. Total perfection. That glitch was a nightmare to squash. But he finally fixed the story drama. Mostly the breakup mess. Our main guy is Kim Woo-jin. Dev at Ru, a Korean studio that popped up and blew up. They drop bangers only, so global fame was instant. Woo-jin was currently fixing their flashy AA8 title. Massive budget, pure hype. This game was the deal breaker. Total cash cow or the studio's funeral. The hook, plot, and difficulty shifted based on your picks. Even for a solo run, the AI characters made the plot super lit. Everyone was obsessing over this vibe. Plus, tons of jobs. Aristocrat, hunter, weird but cool. Not just basic knights, mages, and adventurers. You could be literally anyone. A hit means easy bank, but the risks were huge. If it flops, they are totally toast. Woo-jin pulled months of overtime cause of Why UK? You clean mid-boss, baddie, in a total bug factory. Finally, Woo-jin crushed every single glitch. In the fix, decaling gets offed by his. Woo-jin approved. Dude was a mess. While grinding, someone grabbed his eye. Yue Ra, team lead in his 7 years together. 7 years of pure vibes. She grinded hard. He was kinda lazy, but he stepped up his game just for her. Still split though. He just couldn't change enough. She asked about the bugs. Heard it was rough. Good job. Woo-jin realized it. Been 6 months. Heard she's already taken. New guy cool. She goes, news travels fast. It's fine. He joked that. He hoped they'd get hitched. She said, zip it. Work. Ura, added the writer said. They swapped the setting and needed model tweaks. Woo-jin groaned. Total disaster team. Mentioned Decalina mid-boss. You can smoke. Early week. You are? She was like, that's the whole selling point. Decalane gets buffed as you go. And player choices spike the difficulty level big time. She also asked if Woo-jin knew the char was based on him. Like, did he sleep through modeling? It's kinda sus how similar they look. Woo! Jin barely knew the writer. But Ara teased, that's why the char always croaks. They're practically soulmates. Woo! Jin was shook. Was she for real comparing him to the bad guy? Then you asked. So, what's the verdict on the beta? He admitted the game slaps, but he was stressing cause the company's fate rests on it. Ira told him to chill. The trailer's already viral, and there's no way it flops now. Then Woo-jin spotted a ride outside, and asked, yo, is that your boyfriend pulling up? Don't leave the poor dude hanging in the cold, he said. Bet a jet? Ara paused, then shrugged. Whatever, it's cool. She bounced, wishing him a solid grind. Hours later, late at night, Woo-jin checked Deculin again. Was the writer trolling? This was literally him. The char had 6 traits, prodigy, and mediocre. Make it make sense. Lore says Kid Deculin was hyped as a genius. A magic whiz. But actually, kinda mid. Mix that pride, snobbery, smarts, and fancy upbringing, and you get the worst personality ever. Barely human. Deculin stats, germ freak, elitist, sweaty, tryhard, bossy, ... The whole package. Woo! Jin figured he gets OP later in the story. But every arc ends with him getting hated on and totally wrecked. Could he sneak in some low-key tweaks? I mean, he is the model for this dude. Then he spotted understanding. Wondered, brainiac understanding or actual feels? Why not make this guy more likable than himself? He grabbed that trait and started buffing him. Filthy rich, sharp eyes, Midas touch, and a body of steel. But then Woo-jin thought, nah, too extra. Villains shouldn't have all the cheat codes. So, he hit undo. Back to default. Suddenly, a glitch popped up. Wait, just a DM from the writer? Is that error cause you're modding stuff? It asked. Writer added, nah, I'm just confused. Woo-jin typed, wanted to bug this at my desk. Nope, the writer replied. Check the window. Woo-jin looked out, totally lost. Nothing there. Then boom, huge storm. What's up with that hole in the clouds? Lightning zapped him, felt weird, totally lost. Then, bam, major pain. A voice nagged. Stay sharp. Declan is hard mode. .com for a sec, but things could flip fast. Deculane was wild and time to level up those skills. He was a villain, after all. Screams woke him up. Eyes open, he saw a maid blocking someone, and a look-alike lady yelling. Get up, lazy, you human? Deculane wondered. Has it really been days? Still feels like a dream. She grilled him on his laziness, saying, one girl was ruining the family rep. Files are on the floor. Work or get fired. She spat. Deculane flashed back a week. Bright flash, then woke up in a weird body in place. He realized he was stuck in the game dev world. The scenery proved it. Worst part, he was the guy who dies in every ending. He was the absolute worst. Character, villain 1 week since spawning in Deculane's fancy room. Thought it was a dream, but reality hit hard. Since he croaked that way, maybe afterlife? Nope, definitely game villain. Deculane was a mid-tier boss, enemy of the state in every route, and the root of all evil drama, basically, top-tier villain. But when in the timeline, knew his mana stats, but not how to use M. He remembered only one tester, survived Deculane's route. Dude was coded to die. Saw the paper she left, from Imperial Uni, Professor Deculane's Magic Basics notes. He guessed the messenger was his controlling They had major beef. The girl mentioned earlier was likely Julie, his killer. He said, drama, since Sis threatened his job over it. Oh yeah, he's a professor. Today must be lecture day. Gotta prep. 0 experience, but needs info fast. Big takeaway. System pop-up, main quest. Be the game's MVP to survive. Side quests unlocked. Teach a college class. Reward? Sweet coins for the item shop. How do you act the part? Yariel was a walking death flag. Anyway, plus, the coin shop is totally open. But seriously, how does one teach magic? Panic mode? Nah, he was chilling. His body had the understanding perk. Burn mana. Learn instantly. Funny thing, before becoming Deculan, he added that trait to make the guy less of a jerk. Late game passive skill. Gotta have some secret uses. Stepped into a room flooded with sun. The outfit felt weird at first, but he rocked it naturally. Like his brain and body just seemed like he was born Old him would have hated the stiff suit. Now, it felt slick and comfy. Thanks to his intimidation and dignity stats. His vibe was elite. Everything screamed, I own this. Can't break character or mess up the fancy etiquette. Annoying stuff felt normal now. Whatever helps him not die. Lecture prep felt way too easy. 0 nerves. He was a high-spec noble now. But inside, still Kim Woo-jin hot guy. Corporate job. Though people did call him a lazy bum. Can't forget his roots. Can't slack off here. This world wants to delete him. Speaking of rides, never sat in a whip this fancy. Reminded him of a jerk. So, block. Hopped in. Nervous kid next to him hands over a file. He's like, yo, you my assistant. You a maid. She nodded. Yes, 3 years under you. Just messing with you, he said. Thought it was lecture notes, but nope, just a script. Whole class was written right there. Arrogant and lazy classic. Him wouldn't prep squat. Poor kid did the work. Told her good job. And she froze. Driver was shocked too. He told the kid to chill till they arrived. He felt sick, just being nice. What kind of toxic build is this? That's Deculane's evil nature. Felt it back at the house too. Driver goes, we're here. Stepped out. Time to boss up. At Imperial Uni, his brain totally blanking on the spot. Oh, right. The lecture hit the hotel ballroom. Inside the ballroom, the crowd was hyper for Mr. Deculane. Spell genius? He walked in. Dead silence. I'm Deculane, Von Graham. Lecture mode. Meanwhile, fangirls were like, he's so hot and smart, total crushing. But one girl was shaking. Her dad's nemesis. 3 years ago, dad ended it. Research wasted. Gone forever. All custom jerk swiped his paper. The thief, now famous as the spell genius. That guy right there. She felt helpless. Dad died. She lost it all. Noble life gone. How's lands? Cash. Poof. Totally stranded. Nowhere to go. So she swore she'd make him pay. Big time. She grinded nonstop. Day and night. Till ... She got into Imperial Uni. Deculane's turf. Students were clueless. Deculane's skills. Fake news. Stolen glory from her ruined dad. How's he so chill sitting there? In the spot her dad deserved? Wanted to expose and end him, but got a chillin' plan. Needs that perfect payback. Just then, Deculane started yapping. Reintro senior professor at the Magic Tower. Blah blah. I'm a monarch level mage. Rank for baby. Special class. Figured since ... They made it here. They knew the deal. Lesson start. 3 properties. 9 categories. Props. Origin. Elements. ... And the link connecting it all. Categories. Invocation. Spiritual ... Destruction. Support. Utility. The whole list. Deculane thought. Hey, I'm killing this. First lecture ever on theory he barely knew. Crazy. Even if he ... was just reading off a script, his skill made it click. His intimidation vibe ... And dignity kept eyes on him. Plus, elitism blocked the nerves. He looked natural. Dude's traits basically made him teacher of the year. He kept going. Mana works differently. ... Depending on where you stash it in your body. Mages usually stash mana upstairs to visualize hexes better. Knights stick it in the ticker to pump juice everywhere. Then there's the gut, the real power core. It links inside and out. Works for basically whoever. His point was actually super basic. Grinding helps, but if you lack skill, pick a lane. He figured he should listen to his own advice. Honestly, Do I knew he wasn't exactly a. His 3,000 mana was trash next to the hero's 30,000. Wrapped up class, but had to drop one last truth bomb. The real Deculin would never pull that, stressing over the final line he had to deliver, asked for cues. The room went total cricket mode. Thought he was safe until someone piped up. That hoodie girl who hates him asked about the spooky dorm spell. People were screaming demonic possession. She challenged Mr. Genius to explain the vibes. Dulian hit back with, "You even go here?" She blinked, totally confused. Why? Real mages introduced themselves. "I don't talk to rude new." She started snapping back, but he was like, "Nah, kiddo, not today. Reading costs 1,300. He had 20. If he tried that again, he might literally explode. The class LO, she got super salty at him. "Wait," she yelled. "The tower mages bailed, but I bet you can figure out the spell type." She popped a huge spell right in the room. "Analyze this. Teach." Just Beacon dropped his mana to 360. Novices failed all night. "Can't you give a hint?" Dulan scoffed. "No hints needed. It's clearly enchantment." Some creep tried squashing folks with it, then he dipped. Mission accomplished. Lecture over. At lunch, she ranted about the fake professor. She was plotting to expose his totally bogus analysis, but instead, she got roasted for having zero manners. Still, she bet he was totally winging it with that enchantment. Guess, enchantment needs an item. Dummy? Where was the medium? She figured that sketch was just a copy-paste of that sus magic circle on the dorm doors. From last night, everyone was salty at first, but now the noobs are totally geeking out over it. Some girl sprints over to a Farian, yelling that the scribbles are actually a remixed barrier spell. A Farian was totally lost, but the girl was fangirling hard over. She did, since everyone else was too chicken to grill the professor. A Farian looked like a boss. "Is that actually a barrier?" a Farian asked. "Suspicious?" "Yup," the girl chirped. "Professor Deculine is cracked for spotting an enchantment with no medium." A Farian thought, "No way," but the girl promised Ephraim's name would be on the official report. Clout secured. A Farian played it cool. "Sweet, thanks." Inside, she knew it was a total fluke. Ooga! She just accidentally hyped up the professor's rep. Epic fail. She grabbed a doc from Understanding Advanced Grade Elemental Magic, basically the syllabus for his lecture. This term, gotta know the boss's moves to beat the level. She decided to prep hard before the showdown. The plan? Canceled the professor, ace. Meanwhile, Deculin strutted down the hall. Mission accomplished. Though, it was almost a total wipe. Just glancing at that messy formula, his comprehension skill auto-triggered a headache of overlapping magic lines. Just looking at it, drained his mana bar like crazy. He barely grasped the spell's vibe. Even permit, if he had double his max MP, decoding that logic would be a nightmare. Still, he didn't crash and burn. Could have been worse. Suddenly, a wild challenger appeared. Long time no see. Decleon clocked her instantly. White hair, clear eyes. Seen that avatar on his screens a million times. Julie, his a playable character, and future top-tier knight. Wasn't expecting a spawn here, but he nodded. "I'm good," Julie scoffed. "Good. After ghosting me on our promise a week ago." He had zero clue what she meant. Tried to slide past her. "Maybe you forgot to." Thinking of bailing like. Last time, she blocked his path. No escape button. Deculine improvised. "Must have slipped my mind. I was sick. Refresh my memory?" She snapped back. "You swore to stop being fake. Admit all your lies. And stick by me even if the world ends. Trusting you was a huge mistake." "Get lost," Julie said coldly. He stared for a sec. "Cool, I'm out." Julie realized they were just a political ship anyway. Flashback to a dinner. "Deculin's a mage prodigy," someone said, "and she's a knight with legendary talent." They claimed if they vibed, it'd be a total power, move politics and bloodlines combined. Julie figured the Heicher families, Yukine and Freya, rigged it so nobody, including them, could say no to the wedding. She saw it as a duty, zero love involved. Eventually, both fams faced facts. Declan's talent, a total scam. Maybe he was in denial, fooling everyone as a genius professor to hide the truth. Then one specific mess up happened, and his glory days hit a wall. But the Yukine and Frieden crews kept it on the down low. Neither wanted to be gossip fodder, too much political clout at stake to admit failure. But Julie, she couldn't let it slide. A loveless marriage was one thing, but scamming the whole world, nope. Her knightly pride gave her the guts to confront the king. He swore he'd behave. She was stoked then, but realized now he's just a liar who ghosted his promise. Later, at the Imperioni's magic tower, Deculane reckoned this school was the game's MVP and the magic depth, the final boss, the ultimate big bad. Like Korea's top med schools, with the tower acting as the uni hospital. He thought, the design was sick, great layout, super spacious, campus, neat gardens, totally gave off US college vibes. Deculane wished he could just chill and walk around, if not for his drama, Then he spotted someone zooming at him, flinched, but it was just his clumsy kid assistant, dropping everything. Sorry. Said she had major news, ASAP. Dian sensed a trap. He asked. The kid was like, no way, I'm Alan. He was confused by the look-alike, but Alan insisted they were diff. Back in the office, Dectula asked, that was the urgent thing? Alan nodded, handing over the year's new mage sponsorship list. Decane figured the tower was like IRL research, labs needing cash to level up and find cool magic stuff. Tower profs sponsored the promising rookies every year. Scanning the list, Deculaine saw a name, glowing gold, skills, probably. First up was a born tycoon, a finance whiz with a radar for cash. More info just made his gut feelings sharper. Plus, he could literally see stats like mana and elements. Deculaine got that talent, plus sharp eyes equaled major value, though ranks varied. Among them, Ephraim Luna, listed as a main character, per the dev. Apparently, she lost her dad because of Deculaine realized a Farron still didn't. Had 0 backers till now. So I asked Alan, sup with that? Alan figured everyone was too chicken to slide into her deal. Probably my bad. She's new, self-taught, and totally cracked. Girls clearly got mad skills though, no doubting that. But Ephraim's my nemesis. So, yeah, total opposite vibe. Figured this drama would start. Just like the OG game, ... where I'm totally toast on this route too. Game over. I've got that villain deep. Whole world wants me to leave. But hey, survive and get up right? I died so many ways. Stabbings, shady poisons, getting blown up, the works. Basically, every single ending was my funeral. Big yikes! So, gotta flip the script. Do stuff the real me wouldn't. Signed the form. Told Alan, send it, and grab some loot. Chillin' solo in the office. ... I realized step 1. Get that bag. Need major cash. Cash fixes, death flags. Sponsoring mages, easy win. But throwing money isn't enough, cause ... this world is packed with MCS, trying to spawn camp me. To survive the aggro, I gotta stick to the metastrat. Get strong. Like, actually, best plan? For sure. Too bad my base stats are kinda mid. Keep playing like a noob, and I won't handle the heat. Without prep, I'm just speedrunning to the you died screen. Only thing saving my bacon? My special perks. Can't avatar all for elements. But earth and fire. I got those. My magic stat is basically just manipulation. Mix earth and fire, you get metal. Plus, I buffed Midas Touch. With my metal bending hacks, I can use flying swords. Yeah, basically, telekinesis. TK is kinda off meta, but the lack ... of mana gets fixed by using top tier metal. Gotta use it all. Needed to grind that object manipulation skill, ace, snagged a book, wondering if I could test drive this, poured mana into the pages. Boom, huge magic circle pops up. Mana storm in the office. Felt the lore downloading instantly. Left me winded and tired, but figured I'd give it a shot. Floated a pen with 0 effort. Realized basic TK was already installed in my brain. Crazy I can do stuff I only saw in CUTSC ... But honestly, it feels pretty basic now. If this grind pays off, once I unlock ... advanced TK, I'll finally be at the power level. Wondered what's next, and spotted more loot. Thought, hey, maybe I can tattoo the mana circle on me. Heard the meta here is, bigger circle equals bigger boom. Instead of just brain or heart tattoos, he figured he'd hack his whole anatomy. His master plan for boosting mind powers? Etching rune tats everywhere. Risky chest side effects? Likely. Totally. But dude had the iron body perk. Built like a tank with max stats. His natural specs were gut. He figured he could tank the backlash. No sweat. Only doable cause he was stacked with skills. Checked his mana bar, 100 left. Plenty for a test run. Deculaine slapped the book again. Magic info surged into his blood like caffeine. The agony was unreal. Felt like his bones were being put in a blender. Next level hurt. But did he flinch? Nope. Didn't cry. Didn't scream. That dignity buff kept his poker face locked. After the trial, his mana tank hit empty. He was shaking like a leaf. Total fail. Ran out of juice before the download finished. Still, not a total wash. Got a sweet magic tat on his shoulder out of it. At this speed, going full body canvas would take like 2 weeks. Fast forward a month, past that lecture. Deculane's class, again, day 1. Let's go. Crew walks in hyped, but it's just a sign. Professor wants to see skills. Use whatever magic you want, show me results. Everyone's confused. Is he ghosting us? Just leaving a note? What's he want? Where is he? The vibe was pure confusion. A Farron rolled her eyes. Classic guys, totally irresponsible. She griped. He just ditched them with a self-study note. Who does that? Then, some girl slams into a She spins around. Oh snap. It's Sylvia von Yaseppen. But Sylvia just gives her a blank stare and walks off. Rude. Does she not know me? F wondered. Later, She starts building a spell. She whips up a mini tower model. No mistake, Sylvia's definitely an Iliad. 10 years back, they bullied her dad, surrounded their house with troops. F wondered if Sylvia was faking amnesia. Her tower gets wrecked by magic. She felt her mana getting drained away, and saw Sylvia stealing it to build her own mega. The nerve. Yo, what the heck? F yelled, you blind or something? You just crushed my tower. Sylvia acts deaf. Is she glitching? Pretending I'm invisible? So if Farron gets right in her face, why act like you don't know me, huh? Impossible to forget the family you threatened 10 years ago. Unless she's just scared, F's gonna beat her now. Sylvia goes, who are you? F snaps, and why the rude tone? Sylvia was like, Edie Key who you are, but your dad, total mess. Herdy kicked the bucket. A Farron totally lost it. The crowd gasped as she charged a spell, screaming, how dare you roast my dad like that? She lunged right at her. Zero has a massive blast scared the living daylights out of everyone. Through the smoke and chaos, a voice coughed. We alive? If he grabs Syl's hair, talk smack again, I dare you. I'll end this right now. The crowd pointed at the freaky black hole swirling behind Iffy. Even she freaked out. It was the void. Her mana smashed into Sylvia's, sucking up energy like a vacuum. Everyone knew this ticking time bomb was gonna blow big time. Kids scrambled. Iffy thought, if this pops, we're all toast. When it finally blew, Iffy threw up a shield, but silence. Something blocked it. The hero stopping the shrapnel. Declan, obviously. Iffy blinked. When did he even get here to freeze all that junk mid-air? With a flick, he yeeted the debris away. Once he used telekinesis, the crowd was totally starstruck by his power. As magic nerds, they knew mad skills when they saw him. They just had to admit. That move was wildly aesthetic. He piled the scrap, canceled class, but kept the troublemaker behind. If he figured, she was in deep trouble now. In the interrogation room, a guy announced the VIPs had arrived. That was Ran, some support professor. Latrin tagged along. Top mages are always on time, he snarked. Beside our guy was the big boss. Adrienne Shi thanked the crew and said this. Mess popped off way faster than Declan expected. Hin asked, who messed with the Iliad? Someone whispered, some nobody with no name. Latrin added that Declan crushed the drama fast. Super impressive stuff. Declan rolled his eyes internally at the being snooty nobles, they'd already picked a side. I mean, one kid was Sylvia, Iliad royalty, a broke ex-noble who couldn't clap back. He knew who they'd back, so he had to switch up his game. He spotted a weird, dark vibe on Iffy, only he could see. Villain mode on. If he made one bad move, game over. Total plot twist. Maybe even rip. So, the drama club meeting with F and Sylv kicked off. Relin went full Karen on F, asking why they threw hands. In class messy if Declan didn't step in, total carnage. He pressed for deets, but F kept her mouth shut tight. With Declan lurking, she couldn't spill how Sylv dragged her dad. No way she could. Spill the tea with him staring. Relin laughed. Insecure mutt. Know your place, he sneered. Sylv Zeely, your basic, learn the gap girl. Sylv grabbed the mic. So, like, in class? She lied. I broke her project. Oops. Then she went psycho. Just that. And this nobody dared step to you. Well, zero class. Zero chill. Expel her. We don't do savage brawls here. But F froze. Feeling the hate. The shade? No. Back up anywhere. Totally alone. All Declan's fault. Stupid, cursed jerk. Boz agreed. Unanimous. But Declan, your take. F panic. Totally toast. Expulsion City. Declan paused. Think that was really an accident. Looking at Sylv, he pressed. Yashora? Really? Innocent? The room got super awkward. You could have stopped it, he said, but you didn't. Guess that genius. Is hype? Why didn't you use those mad skills? Sylv looked down. My bad. I let it slide. Just to see F get wrecked harder. F blinked why. She folded instantly. And wait, so I'm not to blame. Latran frowned. Dude, don't grill the victim. Declan shrugged. If that's the vibe, blame me. My class, my problem. Latran back. Not my point. F was confused. Declan defending her. Weird. Director side. Enough drama? Kid scrap. It builds character. They're new here. Cut them some slack. Crushing their vibe now. Total buzz. So, no detention. You're both free to go. F expected the boot. Why'd Declan save her? As the teachers bounced, Relin kept sucking up to Declan anyway. F shouted Declan. One burning cue. Did he know he ruined her and her dad? Declan figured she'd have cold feet. Fney froze. Asking about her dad might tick him off and get her expelled. But honestly, if he totally forgot her dad, that'd be way more insulting. Declan, shut her down. Don't ask. Don't waste talent obsessing. Then he bailed, leaving Affair in solo. She figured he knew the whole scoop on her father. His words proved it. Was he helping, out of guilt for ruining her life? Did he do it specifically because he caused her dad's death? or just pity. She chilled out. At least Decaline hadn't forgotten them, whatever Decaline finished his quest, bagging 2 points. Later, Sylvia headed home with Glythaeon, her fancy rank 3 mage dad. He told his kid. He got the school drama, but she should ignore that other girl. Afarian has skills, he admitted, but she's way behind schedule. Still, Sylvia couldn't stop mulling it over. 10 years back, at the aptitude test, Sylvia first met Afarian. Some random mage peeped the crystal ball and totally lost his mind. Both were Archmage Materiala, once in a millennium miracle. The absolute peak of magic is the immortality rank. God-tier beings with hacks, even the Emperor can't touch. Reach that level, and boom, you're an Archmage. Historically, only 3 Archmages can exist at once. It's not snobbery, it's literally a law of magical physics. Never more than 3. Don't already snagged the eternal spot. That leaves just 2 open seats, and Principal Adlin is gunning hard for one of them. So Sylvia and Afarian are in a cold war for the last slot. That's why Glythaeon bullied Ifarine's dad into blocking her enrollment. They raided the Luna estate, sparking major beef between families. All for Sylvia's sake. With Ifarine's family ruined, Sylvia took the lead in the race. This ambition is literally Sylvia's entire world. She wondered if she feared losing to her, then decided, nope, that girl was just a minor pest. Glythaeon said to ignore the brat and watch out for He warned that Decaline wasn't some easy fix. Despite his slump, he's a prodigy. Sylvia knew he spotted her trap. Flashback to that explosion. During their duel, Sylvia drained all the mana from Ephraim's attack, planting a nasty Manari active bomb in return. If that blew up bigger, she'd have been expelled for sure. Decaline caught the trick, but instead of busting her, straight up, he just blamed her for not stopping the mess. Acting like a total no. Sylvia had no choice but to take the L after that. She figured he was just a cocky genius, but turns out the dude's totally not what she expected. Days go by. Later, at Deck's Massapad, he's prepping for some big deal bash. In the ride, he figured saving Afarian was the right move, per the system. Scored plot points, and ditched a death flag that could have wrecked him. Shockingly, the newbie asking cues at the start was actually a He guessed Sylvia was throwing shade because of the drama, but he had to play the villain to dodge a worse fate. He wanted to skip the bougie stuff, but couldn't ghost M with shop coins on the line. The quest crashed the New Year's flower party. To unlock the shop, he needs 5 coins. So he's grinding for every drop. His ride pulls up to a swanky palace with a red carpet out front. The bash was crawling with VIPs. Everyone. Repping noble fan. Deck saw old pals. Even Ehelm, a dude he basically made. He figured showing up was actually a solid brainwave. Some old dude goes, "Yo, professor, my kid's in your class." Suddenly, everyone's ears perked up and started hyping him up like crazy. Deck thought it was sus and blanked him. Tuning elsewhere, he heard Ganasa, top-tier adventurer. She was the MVP right now. Befriending her would be his ultimate flex. He scanned the room for her. Mid-search, he felt eyes on him. It was Ganasa. Red braids, adventure gear totally standing out. Deck tried to rush over, but got blocked. By Ehelm, some fancy rank for court mage. Ihelm acts all shook that the great professor recalls him and asks about his work. Then he casually drops some weird gossip about Deck, acting innocent. Deck was like, "Excuse me." Ehelm says Deck's work has been stalled for 3 years. Folks are trash-talking his skills as a professor and mage. Deck realized this dude was straight up beefing. Turns out, Ehelm used to be Deck's uni buddy, tight before, but Ehelm got salty when Deck snagged the senior gig. The old Deck would have raged, but new Deck unbothered. Plus, the tea Ehelm spilled was kinda true. Deck glanced over. Ganasa was gone. He got mad triggered cause Ehelm made him loser. So he steps up, tells him to back off and get a life, calling him salty. Ehelm got butt hurt, asking, "Say what?" Deck knew he had to find Ganesa to link up, or his plan was toast. Later at the bash, while the crowd hunted for Professor Deck, he dipped out fast. Had to dodge the fan club. Why he hates parties? Then, whoa, someone caught his eye. It was the one he needed. Weird, she smirked. Like you were stalking me? Deck blinked. He was hiding, but found her. Fate. You totally looked for me? Spill. She apologized for bailing on the job, repaid the cash. We cool. Deck remembered the contract. Oh yeah. She ghosted on kidnapping, that magic kid? Truth. She got attached. Couldn't do it. So, mission failed. On purpose. Deck got it. Old him was a talent-stealing creep. How long you gonna live like trash? She asked. He thought about the OG villain's toxic rep. Deck replied, I'm changing my vibe. Actually, she froze. He expected him to rage quit or attack. She bailed on a shady secret job. After all, Deck thought she was being extra. What's her deal? Fighting her? Suicide. She's way up, totally indestructible. A literal boss. Peak adventurer stats. Beast mode. He only didn't put a hit on her cause he's new here. If not for that, he'd be toast. Still, this chat was getting deep. But hey, he kinda bonded with her. I'm heading back. Chill, he said, leaving. You're just dipping. No revenge, she asked. I ain't that petty. She was shook. He figured he could flex his guild connects later. But even skipping the front lines, death rates go up. Ding. System death. Flag avoided. Free coin. Deck wondered if he could have died. Right there. Zero chill. He was never safe. Meanwhile, elsewhere, a rookie adventurer bugged her sis. You sitting all night? Begged Julie to. Least have fun. Then sighed. How's life? Rumors about Deck were flying. She was stressing. Julie recalled the chat with him and felt sick. It's a mess. Hearing that, total buzzkill for her. Deco walked up, saw Julie, was like nope, and bailed. Crowd was confused. Doesn't he live for the drama at these bashes? Ditching his, that's cold. Everyone gossiped that they were on the rocks. Rumors confirmed. Turns out, that very day, Decalaine ghosted the party faster than ever. High society whispers. Trouble in paradise with Julie. Kim Woo Jin, clueless about the tea, just grinded coins for the shop. 2 months, post-party aside from brain drills and mind tricks, Declan hit the gym to fix his weak stamina. Why? 'Cause an experiment nearly deleted him. Here's the deets on what went down prior. Decalaine face-planted in the office, spitting blood. Said a basic mage would have croaked. Iron Body perk saved him. Meeting Ganasa made him crave serious gains. So he tried buffing his metal control with fire magic. Stacking spells for an upgrade. Thought he'd be, but nope, super risky. His body almost rage quit from the stress. So he chose to work out, hoping getting Swa would handle the magic load. Started a routine and got absolutely post-workout. Back to the grind. Asked Alan about a weird text. Alan was like, it's official business. From the Magic Tower's teacher review squad, said in 6 months, there's going to be a hearing to judge Professor Decalaine's research progress. Gotta have all his homework done by then. Decalaine realized the research was lagging way before he possessed this body. Total nightmare scenario. In-game Decalaine's identity is Professor. His quests and survival depend on that title. It's a lose the job, game over. He's toast. Hoped the lab had some clues stashed away, but he walked in and saw a total disaster zone. Looked abandoned for ages. No way he actually worked here. Then he spots a weird fake-looking mud pile. Wondered what it was hiding. Didn't know what, but it screamed, do not touch. So, he used telekinesis to move it sans contact. Found a book inside, but everything was written in code, like they were hiding secret research. Useless trick. His comprehension skill cracked it instantly. Boom. Mana exploded from the book. Glowing gold. Definitely genius level stuff. But unfinished. Blank spots, ripped pages, and the theory was utter trash. But the concept slapped. My magnate senses totally felt it. He peeped the book's photo and realized it was a fairing. Her dad Def hid this work from Aluna Mages got totally wrecked by and Epharine's life sucked. All his fault. For real. He crumpled the paper. Not my drama, he said. Figured if he finished it, he'd credit her as Next morning, at the basic campus caf, someone said us peasants, gotta stick together. Gert said with 30 of us, it's team up or flunk out hard. She asked if F said yes, even though she's kinda a fallen noble, but her title meant absolutely zilch. One girl was like, Fski, she's the pleb MV, she's the one who crushed Sylvia, after all, but some dude asked if they needed club permits. He wondered if teachers would rage at unauthorized meet. The girl admitted that. Big issue. Teachers side with nobles, not us. One kid said, yeah, cross Deculin off the list. Meanwhile, F was just dreaming of cake. The peasant squad leader suggested she and F go beg Professor Decalaine, you'll do it, right? Epharian was totally shook. One kid said Decalaine hates everyone, equally, TBA. Leader girl said Decalaine went easy on her. Maybe he likes you? F thought it was a bad idea and felt things getting super weird. She didn't want to see his face more than needed. She bolted yelling she couldn't do it or it'd get way worse. When the leader girl approached F, she froze up in shock. She looked back. Decalaine was there, asking them to move aside. Julia ditched Epharian to handle it. F thought traitor, but Decalaine just walked off silently. Epharian ran up, bowed super dramatic, and said she's starting a club and needs a prof's signature. We won't bug you again. No one else backs a pleb club. Epharian figured. Even if she hated him, the others were right. Profs wouldn't help. So, it was better to shoot her shot than just suffer. Deculaine took it. Send the full deets to my office later. F was speechless. He'd actually signed the paper. Snagging Decalaine's autograph was sus. Way too easy. Julia tackled F, screaming, you're the goat. We actually did it. F was totally lost. The wise teach, being so chill while she's grounded. Next up, Decalaine's crash course on pure elements. Everyone knows elements are magic one, yet most noobs still mix up categories and raw elements. F. Zoned out. Does he feel guilty about dad? Or just pity? She eyed him, total poser. If he's sorry, why not spill the tea to the whole school? You good? Julia nudged her stone-faced bestie. Just ignore the lecture, she whispered. F shot her a confused look. Huh. Oh. The rich kids were glaring daggers at her. Sylvia's squaw looked ready to barf. Whatever, F shrugged. Haters gonna hate. Let's just focus on the teach. She wanted to snooze. Wait, this was actually fire. The professor explained how a simple spark changes, color based on the circle's lines. That was the vibe. Today's lesson, floating flames. F wasn't tripping. This was real skill. Old Decaline was a show-off bully. This guy, a total pro. He was blowing the elite's minds. Everyone was shook. Even bored Sylvia was paying attention. He showed how the basic circle, everyone knows, makes water. But add some water vibes to a fire spell. Boom. Fire flows like liquid. Floating streams. The class gasped. No way. Sylvia couldn't believe the massive knowledge drop. Real geniuses use gut feelings, not dusty textbooks. Theory's a trap. It turns spells into boring clones. Obsessing over books kills time for real magic. Just reading theory. Lame and super inefficient. That's the mage paradox. To be elite, you need instincts. Like his pros can't even explain how they do it. Sylvia was stunned. Since when was he this smart? Later in the halls, F saw. Totally not what I expected. First time she actually paid attention in class. Walking back to the dorms, F noticed the plub's door was covered in graffiti. Arrogant trash! It screamed. She rolled her eyes. How long is this kindergarten drama gonna last? Guess messing with Sylvia really kicked the hornet's nest. Then she spotted a shady letter sliding in. A sponsorship deal? Yeah, right. A Farian scoffed. She wasn't falling for such a sloppy trap. Who in their right mind would pay for her? Total scam. She figured she'd report the fraud and snag a reward. Later at the admin office, plot twist. The sponsorship was legit. When they verified the seal, her jaw practically hit the floor. She pinched her cheek hard. Not dreaming. Okay, did anyone see that? She sprinted to the dorm and started stuffing her bags like a maniac. Because if a hitman comes, she needs to be ready to bail. Pronto. But that secretary gave her a seriously weird look. Maybe they're after her cash. She needs to stay on high alert. She headbutted the desk. Oh, okay. Pain means reality, not a dream. Then the tears came. Someone actually noticed her talent. Just gotta grind a little longer to get what she wants. Meanwhile, at the UCAN mansion, Ariel was stressing out big time. The butler dropped the update that Deculane visited the Howards and is inbound. ETA any second. Ariel fumed. That idiot blew $1 million last year. Is he trying to bankrupt them? If he causes more drama, he's toast. At the auction, Deculane smirked. Finally, the prize is in reach. Since his mana stats are low, he needs top-tier metal to compensate. The gear he was using right now was trashy wood metal. He needed the real deal. Tonight, then he bumped into a surprise guest he really didn't expect. Julie. She stood up, staring daggers. How have you been? She iced. Deculane blinked. Definitely didn't expect to see her at this joint. Heard you disciplined the students, she said. Old news, he replied. Here comes the guilt trip. They are just children. Freshmen, are you trying to crush their dreams and destroy them? She leaned in with a warning. Not to repeat his past mistakes. This is your final strike. Final strike? Sounds like she's ready to dump him for good. Honestly, that works out perfectly. Even if his reputation takes a bit of a hit. She's hot, sure. But marrying her? That's a survival nightmare. Her family comes with way too much baggage and drama. And a distinct possibility of him dying at the wedding altar. Julie looked away, like the sight of him actually hurt. Weird. Deculane knew Julie wasn't the auction shopping type. Did you come here just to lecture me? He teased. She flushed. You're so arrogant. You think you're a celebrity? Busted she didn't come for him. She's definitely shopping. Deculane was like, dude, I heard you the first time. You don't need to spam me. He'd never seen her act so weird. Suddenly, his brain glitched. Wait, what are these feels? His danger radar started pinging like crazy. Inside, Kim Woo-jin panicked. Was he catching feelings from the old Deculane's memories? Jin tried super hard to stay chill and not let the OG personality take the wheel. Then the announcer hyped up the start of the auction. Deculane told himself, nah, my heart isn't skipping beats for her, just paranoia. Anyway, first item, a porcelain vase. Total vintage aesthetic. Looks super pricey. Definitely a quick flip for profit. Bidding kicked off at 1.3 million. Jumped to 1.5 until Deculane dropped a cool 2.5 million. His inner tycoon lit up. Even at that price, this was a total steal. Deculane knew his wallet was stacked, specifically 205 million stacked. So he went on a shopping spree, snagging loot left and right. Everyone stared at Paddles. Who is this whale spending all the cash? Julie felt kinda bad for him. Total cringe. She thought he was just flexing his money to show off. She didn't get his vibe at all and decided to just ghost him mentally. Finally, the boss loot dropped. A legendary mythical item. Super hard to find. A mineral used in epic swords throughout history. The flaming snowstone, winter flame magic vibes. Deculain and Julie both stared, jaws on the floor. That rock was legit one of the most precious metals on Earth. Perfect for crafting icy weapons. The name's a total oxymoron. Heat and cold mixed. While only dragon bones are rarer, this was the best loot he could realistically grab. Julie wanted that stone for her gear so bad. Bids flew. 10 million, 13, 20, 20, 20, 20-5. Julie hit 30 million, thinking she won. Then Declan smirked. 31 million. Julia saw paddle 777 again and thought, why is this dude doing this? She mentally cursed him out. The bidding war got intense. Someone whispered it must be a gift for his wifey. Great sword material, they said. He's being all romantic. But Declan realized his bride was actually the one fighting him for it. He knew the stuff was really good for her. She'd be salty if he took it, but he wasn't quitting. This loot might not respawn for years. Risky move. Lose a stone and keep the girl, or grab the loot and ruin the vibe. Whatever. He was determined to bag that flaming snow. Final bid. 42 million from Deck. Mic drop. The crowd thought it was epic. Craziest bet of the night. They figured Julie just really wanted that present herself. Hearing that, though, Julie was totally fuming. Talk about deja vu. She thought he was pulling the same stunt as last year. She literally never asked for any of this drama. Last auction, he bought tons of stuff just to flex his cash, feeding his own massive ego. It totally insulted her because she saw right through him. Furious, Julie stormed out. She completely wrecked the engagement party. But duh, that wasn't the end. Declan wasn't gonna let that slide, so as nasty gossip started spreading to trash Julie's rep completely. It was super obvious who started it. Julie knew this would just push them apart. His plan to win her back. Fail. No matter how hard he tries, she'd never fall for a guy like him. After everyone bailed, Declan asked if she really wanted that fire snow. Julie thought he was trying to play mind games again, like she was just some toy, but then he just apologized. She was shook, since he never says sorry. He said he's leaving. She stood there, speechless. Was he sorry for taking the gym? The guy she knew wasn't that type of person. At the exit, someone called out for Julie. It was her, big sis, Josephine, the eldest daughter of the family. Later at home, he figured Julie wanted that stone to craft a weapon. Since he swiped the stone from her, she must be mad. But it was weird, a death flag hadn't been avoided. He knew she'd have other chances to try and off him. Walking in, he saw all the servants looking super worried. They told him Uriel had already shown up. He found her in the hall. She asked why. He kept the mine money for himself. Declan realized he should have been more careful, even if his personal account was totally loaded. He said it was an investment, but she screamed, "Am I trash to you?" She complained that he seemed to think she was born just to clean up his messy disasters. She said money was tight, and that she and the servants busted their butts to survive while he blew cash for fun. She asked what kind of moron bets the whole house fund like that. He felt his villain fate kicking in with weird gold and red energy. He realized his tycoon aura and villain fate were mixing. If he didn't fix this, it could literally lead to his death. But if he nailed it, major cash flow coming in. He already had a fix and told Uriel to chill out. Uriel snapped that whenever he messed up. She was the one suffering and cleaning the mess. How can I live like this? I quit college and have no life 'cause of you. Declan said she didn't actually need to do that. Uriel asked what he meant, reminding him that since their parents gone, he went wild, blowing 150 million in a day. Total mess. He totally shook Uriel, dumping the family boss title right in her lap. She froze, completely shook, so he had to say it twice. Turning bright red, she was like, for real. And he was like, quit ya. No cap, he promised. We can swear a magic oath if you think I'm faking. The one that unalives you if you break it, she asked. Yep, that one. Why though? She grilled him. Did you bump your head or something? Deck just shrugged. Believe whatever you want. Sis, bet, she said. You flake on this, and you are literally dead. You bouncing? Yeah, someone torched our cash, so I gotta fix your drama. The second Uriel stormed out of the room, Deck grabbed 2 more coins, hoping the drama was finally over. Somehow, he fixed the mess without making it worse. Huge win. He's a top-tier professor, so ditching the family drama wasn't a biggie. If he keeps flipping the script, maybe he won't actually die. Suddenly, some rondo popped through the window. It was Ganasa, looking for a chat. Just creeping by, she shrugged. But your combo was too spicy to ignore. Spicy huh? Deck asked, totally confused. I've been handling family business, but then, she shook her head. What? Then she spilled the tea. Uriel doesn't have a drop of family blood in her. Deck paused. What was she even talking about? That plot twist definitely wasn't in his memory banks. He knew the game code, said half-sister. Not total stranger, but 0% related. That was brand new info. Ganesa was like, bro, you literally hired me to DNA test her. You wanted to know if she was actually fam or not. Must be off-screen lore. Whatever, he said. Ural is still your... Ganesa blinked, actually stunned for once. Wow, she muttered. Never thought I'd hear you say something nice. Lips are sealed, she promised. But heads up on one thing. The 6 snakeheads are making moves. They want your auction loot, she warned. Watch your back, dude. And seriously, you might want to upgrade the defensive magic at your crib. Once she dipped, Deck Magic leaned to window germ freak alert, but he was stressed. Actually, who cares? The truth doesn't change the vibe. It literally changes nothing deep down. Blood or no blood. He wasn't going to treat her any different. Uriel was still his, lil sis, period. Later in the woods, Ganasa told her crew, Professor Deck has totally flipped. He actually said nice stuff. I'm shook. How does a villain glow up that fast? It's weird. One adventurer cracked a joke, claiming she just sims for hot dude. Ganesha threatened to wreck his ugly mug, but he claimed his grandma thinks he's a stud. Cue, an instant brawl, right on the spot. Julie's niece, confusingly tagged along, mumbled something about how appa means brother, cousin, and uncle in Korean, making translation a total nightmare. Ganasa told the squat to chill about She offered him a magic slave, but he passed. She ordered everyone home, stressing that snitches get stitches keep. It zipped. They poofed out of there with teleport magic. Next day at the Magic Tower, Deck hacked the system shop open, only to realize he was totally broke. Mana upgrades cost 10 coins, and he had 0 nada. The shop lets you blow cash to buff game chars, including yourself and key plot figures. But you can't go crazy with it, since it has a 6-use cap before game over. Price doubles every level. Ouch. Deculine's daily grind. Workouts, studying, mental sword drills, and boosting stamina. No big baddies were on his radar yet, though he desperately needed that mana shop upgrade. Suddenly, a knock interrupted him. Alan walked in with some paperwork and a wizard tabloid. Splashed with wanted, assassin mage, Lockhart, on page 1. No sightings yet. Deculine pondered this Lockhart guy. Figured he was the ultimate threat to all early game players, specifically the squishy mages. If he were a basic mage, he'd be toast right now. But honestly, he wasn't sweating it. Fighting him might actually pay out some sweet shop coins. Deculine told Alan to chill about the assassin and head to the library. Dismissed. On his way out, Alan paused and asked about the TA position. Deculine was like, duh, obviously. Alan shrieked, totally confused, asking if Deck seriously wanted to hire him, since he used to call Alan Deculine claimed he had a change of heart, but really, he just needed a warm body to do the TA work. He cut the questions, tossed him a Yucklin bracelet, and said, work hard. Alan bowed low, practically crying with joy at the praise. Deculine figured Alan, a paperwork wizard and super useful. Gotta keep him leashed. Though, considering how much of a jerk he'd been to the kid, he wouldn't blame him for bolting. Alan did all the grunt work solo back then, so why stick around? Deculine told Alan to bounce for the day, tossing him cash for some eats. Alan was shook by the fat stack, but Deculine ghosted without a word, just totally floored. Later at the staff lib, Deculine focused on Luna's diary he'd found in the mud. But the research was a hot mess of errors he had to fix ASAP. Figured hitting the grimoires was the move. Suddenly, he spotted a girl in the staff-only zone and demanded answers. Was the newbie Sylvia Iliad? Totally busted. 10 minutes prior, she'd asked to enter for some research material. Professor Rand chatted with the admin, saying the Iliad heiress could chill there, no drama. So the admin waved her in. Sylvia's a total word nerd, so she haunts these dusty book rooms constantly. She used the chance to grab magic notes, but snagged a unique romance novel in Ethanel too. Since fairies vanished, that romance stuff is crazy rare and valuable now. That's exactly why she crashed the exec lib for books normally off limits to students. Obviously, bumping into Deculine wasn't on her bingo card. He grilled her on being there, asking if she craved more detention. Freaking out, she stuttered, asking why he was there instead. She claimed she needed a specific doc with permission from Professor Deculine scoffed, noting Rand and the librarian were ignoring school rules. In that case, both of them deserved a serious smack. Then he snatched her book. An Athenal romance novel? Seriously, you really broke the rules just to read some sappy love story. Sylvia gasped that he knew the language, but insisted that wasn't the point. She was just super into languages and lit. He returned the book. I'll slide this once next time. You're toast. He simply bounced, leaving her standing there. She felt totally roasted, but he was just analyzing fairies through the text. She wondered how he read that chaotic, super confusing language. Later during class, the squad hit a forest clearing. basically survival mode training. Relin announced the first drill, noting the noobs didn't fear the dark mountain. Relin said they'd pause at night, but he was actually pretty proud. See, the mountain of darkness was way out from the uni holding major significance, plus tight security for the magic tower. The forest was for grinding XP and farming magical loot. Because of this, the risk of toxic mobs was high, so the magic tower set up shields and kept a professor on patrol duty. Relin told Decaline they had zero clue who'd take the duty roster this week and needed a fresh victim. He tried to volunteer a buddy, but Decaline was like, "Nah, I got this." Relin was totally shook. Classic head professor move, leading by example and flexing his status. Decaline wasn't doing it for the clout, though, obviously, he had a system quest for shop coins to grind. Plus, the forest was giving off weird vibes, calling him. Guess that explains the random side quest drop. He didn't know what was waiting up there, but he knew it was going to be bad news. 9 hours later, chilling at a spot near the magic tower, the squad was devouring sweets. Afarin treated everyone, cause she's loaded now. She covered the tab, and Julia piped up, saying she'd prepped the paperwork and club roadmap. Approval was basically in the bag. It was their first big win. She just prayed the club wouldn't be a ghost town. The gang insisted people would totally join. Julia mentioned some rumors about mountain training, but Afarin was too busy stuffing her face with cake to listen. Suddenly, a creepy noise blasted out, followed by heavy pressure crushing the air. They bolted outside, folks were screaming for help, and the crowd rushed to assist. Julia sensed bad vibes, but Afarin just kept sprinting. When she stopped and looked around, she was totally lost. Like, where did the cafe street even go? Then a cry for help echoed, and she frantically shouted, "Where are you?" Getting closer, she saw it wasn't just a person, but a bloody mess. If he realized it was an ambush and prepped her magic to throw hands. Suddenly, someone else pulled up. It was she yelled. "Professor, why are you blasting a civilian?" He snapped back. "Open your eyes. That's not a human." The figure morphed into a massive beast right then. Deculine explained she was under an illusion spell. Classic demon trick. He used telekinesis to yeet her out of the danger zone by her collar. "Hunty time," he said. The demon looked salty about losing its snack. The beast lunged, but Deculine shoved it back with metal shards and mind powers. The demon launched itself forward, slammed into a metal wall. Deculine spotted its core smack on its forehead, but his metal wasn't doing much damage to its thick hide. He figured the demon's blood was boiling, making it super raged out. This was totally because of the Yuklin family trait too. They had the sop ability to crush demons. When fighting these creeps, their mana purified the air, boosting the energy quality big time. But there was a catch it made them super aggressive. Basically, the family line hated demons, guts naturally. The famous Yuklin clan was known for hunting demon sins forever, and Deculine was feeling that instinct now. He'd never let a demon live. That rage fueled his power. He smashed the demon's head with metal, scoring 1 point from the shop points for slaying that forest demon. Check. Bonus for Yukine lineage stuff too. Boom. New Yukine skill unlocked. Doolin was like, "E-dub-da. That cursed thing is gross, even when dead." But honestly, demon sighting means the game started. Even sans player. Next, AM at school. A Farron, groggy woke, then totally freaked out. Maids like up. F goes huh. Forest two-ear, ... how? Maid spilled the tea. Memory loss is totally chill. Last night, demon on Dark Mountain targeted her specifically. She passed out. Staff dragged her to the clinic. Classic. Dark Mountain's shut down cause of demon drama. Towers looking. Oh, and Professor Dequilin was her savior. She thought of that dude and asked the date. Nurse goes. 36 hours later. It is Wednesday. Late F kicked the door and sprinted to class. Wheezing. Julia's there, like you good girl. Tried visiting the clinic, but you were snoozing hard. F's like I am fresh. 0 scratches. But what is the class topic? Julia says. Dunno stuff was set up when you crashed in. Deculine enters with new TA, Alan. F. Who is that guy? But Professor announces Alan as the class helper today. Class starts whispering. Deculine rolls solo, usually, no assistance in the lore. Being head Tay is huge, especially for a big shot like him. F heard the gossip, and got it. Her research adept never made TA by age 30. So why did he pick some random age? Nobody knows. Prof goes, today's lesson is hands-on learning. Task time, 3 hours. Alan passes O-timers. Meanwhile, F stared at the bracelet, her dad's old gift. Total nostalgia. Who was dad to Deculine? Acting nice now, whatever, gotta focus on the mission. Then, 25 minutes and 15 seconds, done. Sylvia magically grew all the assignment branches. Prof checked it. Perfect. Let her dip early. Sylvia stands, glares at F, and sighs like a snob. F was so ticked off, gotta finish fast, she thought. Time passes. Julia ran. Everyone leaves. F is literally the last one. She needed a plan. Like, now, getting crushed by Sylvia was bad enough, but finishing dead last. Total fail. Why is she such a mess? Is she seriously too incompetent to handle one simple job? She figured if she couldn't handle the basics, she could kiss her revenge plans against the professor goodbye. 5 minutes, 47 seconds. A voice cut in Deculine was still lurking there. You gonna keep me waiting all day? Or what? He snapped. Wait, he's real. The dude actually stuck around the whole time? He scolded her for choking on an easy level and blowing the deadline. She stared at her shoes and muttered a quick, sorry. Then he told her, even if the whole school roasts you, even if they want you to crash and burn, or your worst enemy is staring you down, you gotta stay chill. Keep acting soft, and you'll never be on my level, he warned. He wasn't just being mean, he was actually bummed, because he knew she had way more talent than this disaster showed. Left alone, Ephraim flopped down, replaying his words until she got totally steamed. Who cares if she didn't impress him? Screw his expectations. She'd crush it anyway. Self-doubt be darned. I'll win, period. She gathered so much magic she nearly blinded herself with the glow. Creepy Professor Alert Deculine was secretly watching from the hall. He wasted tons of time on her. But hey, gotta invest to get results. Her leveling up was totally key for the chaos coming down the road. The main quest was already kicking off, thanks to that demon on the dark mountain. When the world goes pitch black, they'll need a top-tier hero to handle the mess, contain the evil vibes, and actually beat the game. That hero, if too bad her skills and brain are currently she's gonna get wildly OP later. Maybe even dangerous to him, but he's got plans to handle that. Destiny is for losers. He's rewriting the whole script himself. No way his ego would let some rookie outshine him. Eventually, F bolted out of the room and zoomed down the hall. Deculine checked inside and realized she actually pulled it off. She clocked in at 6 minutes and 25 seconds. Not bad. He noted her sloppy outsider habits in the report, but admitted the quality of her magic was honestly top-tier stuff. Score, another shop coin. Since he hung around waiting for his next guest to spawn. Zeit showed up, grinning. Been a hot minute, huh? Deculine frowned. What was this guy doing here? Meet Saitan, Julie's big bro, clan boss, and the genius behind their arranged engagement. More importantly, the guy was ranked 3rd in fighting even stronger than He's a major plot VIP with insane battle stats. Is he here for that fire rock Julie wants? Or is this a game over flag? He had zero clue what that monster wanted from him. Zeit was also then mentioned the gossip about his rocky vibe with Julie. He suggested a squad dinner to squash the beef. Deculine was just relieved the guy was still acting friendly. He nodded, saying it was cool, and dinner sounded awesome. Zeit grabbed his shoulder, praising his quick decision, saying that's why he dug him, promising to pick the spot and pay the tab. He winked, see you there, Professor, and bounced. Deculine knew he didn't have a choice. Saying no wasn't an option. Zeit's family was his whole. Well, messing with their plans meant a guaranteed beat. Next day at the Freyden Manor, Julie was like, refuse to see my brother, and I'm definitely not seeing that guy. Plus she had nights to drill. Zeit asked if she was still salty about the lost stone. She denied it hard. Mid-argument, someone else walked up. Zeit asked if their metal stash wasn't enough for gear, but Julie vowed if Deculine gifted her a sword, she'd dump him instantly. Zeit freaked out, telling her to use her brain breaking up was dumb. He noted she shouldn't be mad about a forced marriage, claiming no dude loved her like that was exactly why he wasn't chasing anyone else. Julie denied it. Zeit asked if she hated Deculine's lack of talent, adding he didn't care. Then Zeit insisted she'll just go to dinner and talk it out. Julie thought about it, but got so ticked off that she drew her blade and started slashing wildly. Her subordinate, Varun, was watching the whole show. He praised her skills. She apologized for the outburst, but he got it. He said that Villain didn't deserve to be near her, blaming the boss for forcing this marriage. But she told him to quit trash-talking people behind their backs, calling it unknightly and warning him not to ruin his rep over her. Baron replied that he understood and it was cool. Julie said they should head back, but Varun was plotting. Seeing her misery gave him a bright idea regarding a way to prove his loyalty solo mission to make Julie happy. Meanwhile, in the Barra Council chamber, they discussed the demon that popped up on the Dark Mountain. They noted magic was invented to ZAP demons, so they couldn't just sit this one out. One guy suggested summoning the 12 magic families. At the Uckline estate, they finally unpacked the auction hall. Deculine rocked the ring for Region, and the necklace to save May. But, like, major glitch ahead, the main loot wasn't vibing with him. That flaming snow rock, totally telekinesis did zilch. Magic proof and pricey AF. Typical, pay to win. He was totally stumped on this one. Read a guide once. OP gear needs bonding. Super grindy stuff. Figured he had to get spiritual with the metal, zapped it with mana, and got roasted. Total rejection. Still, he tried using his big brain. Downloaded stata. Result 0.1%. Lame. Cost 2,000 mana. What a scam. Gonna take a whole year. Max effort for now. Anyway, food time. Deculain bailed. Dinner with the ex. Panic. Plot twist in 4 days. If canon holds, he's getting deleted. GG. At the ritzy cafe, Zeit gave props to him for showing up. Said Julie's already AFK inside. Zeit steps in, hyping Julie's fit, looking like a total snack today. Even Decalen was like, well, she's usually in tank gear. Cleaned up crazy good. Maybe that's why he caught major feels. Someone else hyped her. Oh, snap. Josephine spawned in. The big sis thought she was chill. Nah, walking red flag. Lethal. Total psych. She'd wreck anything to win. Boss of Shadow Intel. Totally OP, just like Zeit. Only simps for her sis. Messing with Julie. Fatal error. Shocked, she hasn't clapped him yet. Felt those killer vibes the second he walked in. Villain curse, active, death, probability. Sky high. To survive, gotta be real about the love. Zeit skipped the NPCS chat and asked, wedding, it's been 3 years. Bruh. Decalain was shook and was like, huh, isn't that for the clan leaders? Zeit said, spill it. Josephine was lurking hard though. He replied he'd leave the call to Julie, not feeling it. Delete the engagement. Zeit goes, you'd drop the ring that fast. Just 'cause of the recent drama? Said they shuri, try to patch things up, 'cause the boomer elders would totally flip if we split. Julie yelled for Zeit to bounce so she could chat with Decalen solo. Zeit eyed, Josephine, nodded, and they bailed. Julie stood up all, like yo, what's your actual deal? Decalen clocked a creeper peeping from the door. Josephine was eavesdropping hard behind that fake smile. She was deaf-bugging the room. No way she just dipped like that. Lucky for Decalen, she had no clue he was onto her secret identity. If he could just convince Julie, that he's for real, he might avoid getting deleted from existence. Decalen got serious, swearing he was just catching legitimate feels. She was like, you? Actually having feelings? He sighed. Look, neither of us can stop this wedding train now. Julie snapped, so you're just gonna troll me forever. Decalen admitted he used to pull strings too. Lock this engagement down with her fam, and yeah, he'd do it again. Julie cut him off. This is a literal war zone between us. Dude, still, big flex. Decalen offered to make her boss of the Haidakane Knights. Since she'd said no and he'd trash-talked her before, she asked what his evil plot was now. Decalen was like, yeah, I know how it looks. He admitted mixing up creepy obsession with true love. And wrecking her life just so she'd be stuck with him. He totally gets why she hates his guts. So he swore to quit being toxic. Julie rolled her eyes. I don't trust a single word you say. Fair declare. I was a total jerk. I messed up big time, but I ain't the only villain here. Your fam is shady too, especially Zeit. If they're so chill, why are they? Blocking our breakup right now. Julie went silent. He added, you need their cash to chase your night dreams, right? How'd you know that? She gasped, shook. I'm shady, sure, but I know your struggle. When she asked, what? He broke it down. I'm the total opposite of your type. We don't mesh. Spit it out, she demanded. I can keep the engagement going, no wedding just for show. Politics got us stuck together anyway. Use my clout as a shield till you hit your goals. I'll wait, I promise. Julie squinted. Why the sudden vibe switch after all this time? No strings attached. Swear, Decalen said. Okay, maybe one tiny ask. Just smile once a month. She went tomato red instantly. Even Josephine eavesdropping, like a ninja, was totally shook. Dec figured he was just yapping to save his own skin. But then, whoa, the vibe shifted. He realized Julie looked adorbs, and admitted he was actually catching feels. Julie turned tomato red and swore she wouldn't get played. He allulied. So she asked what was so funny. Chilling outside? Joe thought it was cringe, but the feelings seemed legit. She decided to lurk for now. So Dec dodged a game over and bagged to store coins. Score. 3 days later, Dec realized time had zoomed by. The big deathversary was finally here. At the graveyard, he thought the mood was hitting different. He felt like the stones were radiating moods, his heart arriving way before his brain. It wasn't character drama, but Kim's real memories kicking in. Flashback to Yue Ross saying she'd hide a secret Easter egg for Dec since he's a main character. Kim was like, chill, don't make more work for the dev team. Yue said it was super major for her, like coding her love into the game itself. Kim thought she was nuts but said you do you, knowing she'd ignore him anyway. She promised it wouldn't be a flop. She told Kim that Dec's dead wife was basically her. Kim got that too. Unlock his memories. He had to chase those breadcrumbs. Was she being savage or just clueless? Dead name Uayara von Fergus. And she was grateful. Why'd she slap her own name on the tombstone though? Dec is based on Kim. Why'd Yue pull this stunt with the name? and a TX note to him, weird flex. Yue told him to ghost her, but he knelt anyway, feels hitting like a roller coaster. Hearing her whisper. Throwback moments flooded in. Her grinning at his game art, sharing coats, holding hands, saying 7 years strong. Those memes were so heavy Deck actually bawled his eyes out. Suddenly, some dude popped up. Found you, magic jerk? Walking back at sunset, Deck thought he bounced back fast, like 0 tears ever happened. Deck's icy vibe is clutch. Then he saw a shadow. Looked fam. It was Lockhart, the mage. Lockhart was shocked to find a mage this cocky and clueless. This was bad news, since Lockhart's a mid-boss programmed to wreck anyone playing a mage. What made him the ultimate mage slayer was his nope to magic vibe. Lockhart jumped Deculane, realized the no magic cheat code is totally op in games. His power didn't need any weird triggers to kick in. Just standing there, shut magic down, no touching required. He called Deculane a dummy, since spells were useless on him. But the mage kept fighting, while Lockhart went fully. Deculane totally got why wizards were terrified of this guy. The SEC, the assassin, went for the kill. He ate a fist to the face, flopped back, but acted all cool about it. Then things got real. See, Deculane dropped 10 store coins earlier on a mana upgrade. It boosted his efficiency, so he stopped wasting energy. He got so buff, he had to relearn his mind powers. Plus, his raw mana hits were slapping way harder now. During his morning workout, he flexed hard, feeling like he'd basically leveled up. Soon enough, poor Lockhart got completely wrecked. Bam! Deculane snagged to store coins for the win. Turns out, the upgrade buffed his iron body trait too. That made the fistfight way easier to handle. Lockhart screamed that mages were god-hating traitors. He trash-talked the floating island of Bear, the magic tower, calling it a hive of useless magic-addicted. Deculane figured his mage hate was basically a glitchy trait. Then it clicked, and he asked if Lockhart was a Scarlet. Guy panicked and denied it. Scarlets are named for the creepy red skin they're born in. Basically, they've got demon juice in their veins since day one. They hide out from society and act as enemies of mages, since magic exists to zap demons. Their beef is a huge plot point in this game world. Because of that drama, Scarlets get hunted down just for existing. Someone's probably getting purged somewhere right now. Deculane said he gets the vibe and feels bad for him, but Merkin innocence just makes him the monster he hates. Lockhart told him to shut his trap, quit yapping, and just finish him off. Deculane shot back that he knows Scarlets aren't born guilty. Lockhart was like, how would a mage know that? Deculane flexed that he's a yuckline, a noble who stays chill. Lockhart was confused, so Deculane admitted he only rages at demons. The yucklins have been demon hunters forever. Their blood goes crazy around demons. Deculane asked how Lockhart held up in the fight. Did he lose his cool or fall for the bait? Lockhart was like, nah, I'm human, not a rage. Then he questioned if that's how a real noble acts. Deculane swore he was the real deal. Suddenly, a crowd ran up, so Deculane punted easy arrest, 0 death, he quipped. Inspector Roa pulled up, hyping the kick and asking if the assassin hit anyone else. Deculane said, it's all Gucci, and to just leave the dude there. He telekinesis yanked metal from dirt and trees, bending it like Play-Doh. The cop called the magic fancy, but Deculane said regular cuffs suck versus Lockhart, so wire is best. He also noted the cop was fast. Cop replied, wasn't on patrol, got a D, wasn't from D. Someone Meanwhile, a creeper was eavesdropping nearby. Deculane dipped, wishing the cop luck, he thought. Glad there's no blood, hurting people is a total drag. Somewhere out there, he sensed her vibe. Next day at the mansion, Uriel said the Burke summon is back after 15 years. Deculane asked, just for a scroll? She said, you leave me on read. So I came, She claimed it was his duty as big boss to show up. He clapped back. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Annoyed, she read the scroll. Demon on Dark Mountain, Burke wants a magical family reunion. Deculane got a new main quest. The Burke summoning starts in a week. He can bring 2+1's bodyguard included. Uriel suggested Jeff, but he was like, hard pass. Jeff drives cars, he doesn't swing swords. Uriel said that sounded kinda savage, but warned that Sawang is risky. She didn't know the route well, but knew it was sketchy. Deculane teased, worried. Uriel scoffed, as if, I didn't say that out loud, but if you die, I'm stuck running this place alone. Gross. Then she decided to handle the bodyguard thing herself, sending a request to some legit contacts. Meanwhile, at the night base, Julie was bossing the training session. A guy watched and asked Verone what to do. Verone was like, the dude popped out of shadows, spooking Verone, who yelled bro, cough or burp, next time, don't sneak up. The guy explained they got a VIP request, but the vibes were off, so he was hesitating. Verone said, chill Vice Commander, Julie can handle it. The man sighed, That's the issue. I can't tell Julie the job is babysitting Real talk, the gig was supposed to guard the train, but it was all for him. Vice thought Deculain wanted to know, but Ver was like, nah, we take this. Only pros can handle it. Big clout if they win, plus major cash for the squad. The Vice was totally sure. The boss and Deculain were beefing hard. But Varen said she wouldn't let drama ruin the job. Vice agreed and went to update the boss ASAP. But Ver def up to something shady. Bear is way up north, 3,500 meters high, where wizard big shots live. It's basically, all the magic fams and towers spill the tea. Making rules, even the floating islands gotta obey. These guys are the absolute MVPs of the magic world. But their big meetup is rarer than a blue moon. Getting an invite to this party is a massive flex, like winning a gold medal, even if the place is spooky as heck. At the station, Julie and Vice waited for the guy. Varen yelled, he's here. With his sidekick Alan, Deculain was like, snow in April, we're way north. Julie thanked him. Showing up and said her knights had the train on lock. Julie was acting super cringe-shaking, red-faced promising to protect him. Told him to just chill and enjoy the ride. She recalled her promise to make him smile and panicked, wondering if her grin looked fake or too toothy. Vice thought she was twitching because she hated his guts. Proud of her restraint though, Vice tried to say hi, but Varen cut in first. I'll be your personal bodyguard, he announced. The others were just there for vibes. Honestly, Vice hyped him up as their top-tier guy. Deculain was skeptical about the skills, so he used his magic eyes just in case. Saw nothing weird. Guessed he was just tripping. Varen said VIP mages usually bring a so, just one guard per room. He'd guard the professor. Deculain was like, cool. Julie waved by, then flashed a super awkward, toothy grin. Vice asked if she was sick. Deculain just smirked. She kept her word. Hours later, the train cabin was dead silent. Deculain told Alan to crash if he wanted still a huge trek ahead. Alan nodded and was out cold in seconds, snoring like a log. Deculain mused on Burke Assembly's creepy nickname, the Mage Graveyard. Totally ironic, considering Burke was supposedly the magic world's MVP, pointed to the nasty habit of trains getting ambushed during a just one of the many ways Deculain could meet his maker today. Surviving that mess required serious vibe-reading skills. Basically, picking the one train that wouldn't go boom on the way to Burke. He could have just bought the cheat codes from his shady underworld contacts. Sure, the OG Deculain definitely would have pulled that move, but that ship had sadly sailed. So he prepped the hard way grinding through legendary fighter Estrance manual. Deculain peeked over. Alan was passed out. Weird, since the kid was usually too hyper to blink. A few days back, Dec had invited him along, dropping a huge danger ahead warning and an opt-out clause. Alan was super stoked, calling it a total honor to tag along with the professor. Deculain laughed, threatening to leave him if he kept being a snotty germy mess. Still, the outcome threw him. Didn't think Alan would say yes. Guess the kid's got guts. The train rolled into the station in one piece. But this wasn't his stop. One more leg to go before Burke. Smooth sailing so far, but he couldn't chill just yet. He wondered if he'd gone overboard with the prep work. He was rocking a Jorksutamer with hidden perks, plus a Midas buff for max defense. He had a celeb tailor custom-make it just so he could spam his Midas touch on it. Stashed a wood metal blade by the luggage. Even the train walls were buffed. Alan's outfit was stanky too. His cloak was leveled up with the Midas touch. Even with all that, Deculain was twitchy. Something felt off. Realized he'd spammed Midas so hard, he was running on empty He wondered if he should have saved the juice for later, but figured better safe than dead. He crossed his fingers the trip would stay boring, but you know what they say about jinxing it? Because right then, everything went sideways. Actually, the train just blew up. Rewind a few days. A train pulled in. Sylvia was there with her dad, who asked why she was glued to a textbook. She told him that skipping class was stressing her out, so she was cramming extra hard. Her dad lectured that for a future archmage, the grind never stops. Sylvia nodded. Cheat codes to greatness. Just work. Sylvia fretted about a Farron, but cut in Deculain's class, yikes. She asked her dad, what's with the rush? We totally could have bounced for the Burke meet later. He said, learn the road's name, and you'll get why mages die there. Sylvia figured it was a myth, but he was dead serious. Mages actually get deleted there. Last time, 11 go. Getting an invite is a massive flex for the top 20 fams. They all make history eventually. But ghost the invite, you're canceled for life. Dad quizzed her on the easiest way to wreck a top-tier house. She clicked. He meant the road to Bear, the spot where newbie houses tried to delete the OGs. It's like walking on thin ice, super risky business. That's why we sped up, he explained. Heard a train's gonna go boom. Gotta keep you safe. He had to spell it out so she'd get just how savage their world actually was. Of the 12 big dogs, we've been barking the longest. He said if anyone takes the fall, the whole squad goes down. and dying on the road to Bear. Just natural causes. Kid. Meanwhile, Decaline's ride went kaboom, startling the crew. He flexed his magic instantly. Alan woke up screaming. Why is the train flying? Decaline thought. Asterisk, thank you martial arts and big brain memory hacks. The ambush squad was scratching their heads. Is the professor floating the train? Seriously. Wild. But hey, harder kill equals bigger payout. They swung in on ropes like budget movie villains. Morons. Decaline scoffed, eating knives with his mind. Sucks for them. He totally saw this coming. He went slice and dice mode, limbs everywhere. The assassins were absolutely shook. Alan panicked, so Decaline karate chopped him out cold. Varen stashed the kid and saved the others, he ordered. Varen was on it. Decaline realized he chopped too hard. Iron Body is no joke. Asterisk, oops. Fix the kid later. Kill baddies. Now. You started it, he smirked. Time for natural causes. He was ready to wipe the floor with them. Outside, Varen dumped Alan and just grabbed popcorn. Minutes later, total wipeout. Decaline sat down, wheezing. Okay, that drained me. Blocking bombs left him running on Fumston mana, points left. Vaughn popped back in through the hole, bragging he did exactly what the professor banned. Decaline was just like, cool story, let's bounce. But Decaline spotted Verone, acting sus. Total vibe shift. He spotted a villain's fate glitch. Unexpected death flag. Was that nasty trait hiding there the whole time? Just as he chilled, Vaughn pulled his blade and grinned. Glad you're alive. Teach, I want to end you myself. Who sent you? Decaline asked. Julie? Vaughn Lee. Decaline said stop, but Vaughn snapped back hard. Say her name again, and you are totally toast. Julie's a saint. Don't you dare trash her rep with lies. He was ready to die, right there for her. So Julie's clean, but beating a top-tier knight? Sketchy. With only like 10 mana, Varen attacked. I ain't your guard. Decaline dodged. Only one crazy option left. He cut the magic. Train shook and nosedived off the cliff. Meanwhile, Sylvia passed on the bear special ice cream. That was Serio, the Iliad, house guard guy. Everyone here. Serio nodded. All except the UCAN crew. He teased she was waiting for a guy. She sighed. No way. Cool. Just holler if you need me, Serio said. Left alone, her brain drifted too. Ooga. Not stalking. She was just visiting her mom's grave too. Celia von Elleman, Ilya. She goes there sometimes just to vent her feels. Decaline was annoying. Too much homework. Like he's God. Then, she heard a weird sound. Checked it out. Oh my god. Decaline was there too. Even hunched over, the dude looked fancy. Recognized him fast. But, why was he hanging out? In a graveyard. Didn't fit his vibe at all. He stood up. Whoa. Was he actually crying? The icy, strict, evil professor was shedding tears. No way. Super weird. Thought he was a jerk. Guess he's grieving someone too. Couldn't forget seeing him cry. Dad said trains to bear were getting attacked. Worried her. She'd been practicing a spell since class. With a magic stone, maybe she could nail all 3 types. Origin forms rooting from the user. Red, blue, green, mana swirled. Sparked by the stone. She crafted her first thing from the primary colors. Cute little magic bird. She dubbed him Swift. Done deal. Mental DM fly over and stream what you see. ASA. Meanwhile, Decaline was totally wrecked in the train car. Lucky Breck the crash caught him before the abyss ate him. Bones. Busted. But his steel bod? It'd buff right out. Vern didn't drop either and swiped a D. Is he up? D tossed a psychic blade. Baviz. Aura. Noped it. Veron said Decaline was annoyingly stubborn and swung again. Decaline juked out of the way fast. Dude was OP, stronger than D right now. Might actually lose. Run away. Nah. His ego wouldn't let him bail. Freezing up. Not his vibe. Veron snapped D's knife. But the brawl kept going. All blades toast. D realized he was in deep trouble. One sword hit, and he's cooked. He knew it. Would he respawn, at work, or just die? Mystery, blood everywhere. Swift popped up to watch the show. Just as Decaline accepted the L, space started glitching out. Weird. Wait, the blood was Veron's. Hand ripped off. He screamed, running on fumes. D blasted Veron toward the hole. Veron managed to hook the edge with his knife, dangling there. D stood over him. What did you do? Veron yelled. D shrugged. No clue. Why the hate? Anyway, we got 0 beef. I don't need a reason. Just stay away from my lady. All for Julie. She'd hate this. D clapped back. What's she to you? Huh? You wouldn't get it. Verone flashed back to meeting her. Lady thanked Julie for saving her kid. No biggie. Knight's gotta help. She shrugged. Guards grabbed Verone. Brat started it. My Jason is an angel. This peasant is guilty. Mom raged. Kid smirked. Varen growled. You wanna die? Are you crazy? Wait till the cops get you. Mom screamed. She called. Varun, you broke in and hurt my boy. Chill. How? Did I Spider-Man up your wall? Veron scoffed. Yeah, scum like you always play dirty. Julie eyed the Wahame. Clemdat. Yeah, right? She told the lady she'd handle it. Go home, ma'am. The lady was thrilled. Julie dragged a kickin', screaming, Veron away. He tried bailing, blaming the other dude. Julie paused. Look, everyone knows the Baroness is a total witch, so you're probably not lying. Okay, mostly true, Varun mumbled. Still, Julie said, can't just break in and punch people. She scooped him up. Stick with me and I'll teach you to be a legit, well-behaved knight. You down? She asked. He gazed up. Do I get food? No. Sold. You're my boss. Boom. He joined the knights, but being an emo loner made making friends tough. Only Julie gave a rip, always checking on him. Veron figured as long as he was with her, it was chill. She led charges, helped for free, and loved justice. So, Veron worshipped the ground she walked on. Now, Varun said his crush was just baggage for her. He felt he should just croak before he ruined Julie's life. Deculin nodded. Old me messed up, but that's over. He swore. Kim Woojan fixed the mess without wrecking everything. Then Duchesne reached out. Come up, he urged. Trust me, I won't hurt her. But Deculin sensed the bad vibes and asked, you gonna change your mind? Nope. Gonna kill you first, chance I get. Dumb move. That'll just haunt Julie. Then he chucked a knife right at him. Julie felt a weird vibe. You okay? Her deputy asked. Worried about Chill dudes got skills. Julie agreed. Yeah, no sweat. Meanwhile, Veron plummeted, wishing his master joy. Swift watched the drama. And Sylvia, peeping via Swift, gasped, he off the guard. But looking closer, she saw the knight. Tried to kill Decula first. Her guard yelled. Meeting starting. Boss. She panicked, thinking Desolane would flake. On the tracks, Lilia was like, was that a boom? The forensic squad? Shrugged. Just another day in Burke? Casualties? Nah. But Deculin and Veron are the survivors were Deputy asked about the passed out guy. Probably just shock. One kid claimed a knight made the train float to save M. Deputy was sus. For real. The train floated? They nodded and even flashed a photo. She couldn't believe it. Is that magic? Then a voice dropped. Knight Veron's toast. Failed to kill Who said that? She scanned the crowd for the telepath. Everyone pointed behind her, where Professor Deculin was casually strolling up. He knew he'd be dead meat without that lucky break. Needed that mystery boost to yeet Veron off the cliff. Still felt weak though. Who actually saved his butt? Deputy was like, glad you're not dead. I'm Lilia FM. Security detail. And I gotta grill you about this mess right now. He checked the time. 3:30 a.m. She noted. Crap, only 6 hours left, he thought. She tried quizzing him, but he cut in. Is this the only train? Lilia got salty but admitted. Yeah, no other way. Please, just answer about the night, she pleaded. She blinked, and poof, he was gone. Where'd he go? She yelled. Did he speed hack away? Dude steered a train with his mind. Fought baddies, and still had mana to bounce. How much juice does this guy actually pack? Guess that's the Deculin that Locke hyped up. Later at Bear, the conference room was packed. Glean checked the clock. 9:53. The chief counselor vibed so hard, it scared Sylvia. She was shook by Jekton's insane mana levels, total archmage material, but he chose the hermit life. Sylvia felt becoming an art mage was just a wild dream. Roll call started. First Glon from Iliada, then Ansel from Hausbiren from Vearod, and Ihelm from then called Yucklean House. No show. I'll call Deculin 3 times. If he ghosts, he's zero tolerance policy. Crowd started gossiping instantly. Yucklines haven't been here in 200 years anyway. Totally predictable. Deculin's got no skills. Rumors were real. Sylvia rolled her eyes. Deculin was pathetic. Living invisible with 0 friends, and she started stressing. The head honcho called once, twice, crowd giggling then thrice, while Sylvia sweated bullets. On the 3rd ring, bam, doors flew open. Everyone gasped. Enter Dec. He dusted off snow, fixed his hair, and dropped his name. Deculin von Room went silent. Then we speed ran the meeting. First up. That demon on Black Mountain? Supposedly way sketchier than the Capital Demon drama. Schools need to issue orders and play nice with the church. Also, shipping mages out to suspicious spots. Resolve that in 2 seconds. No arguments. Essen Seal, the holy rep, gave her take. Nobody fought back, so deal closed. Boom, break time. Finally, Deculin sat there thinking, this is exhausting. He'd sprinted like a maniac to beat the clock. Now, he was on 0 mana, battery dead. Yet somehow, he still looked impeccable. His face was annoyingly perfect, as usual. On the way out, Alan asks, Professor, you good? Alan was super salty about being late. They locked him out, 'cause it started? I'm chill Deculin, but that kid gave him weird vibes. Couldn't trust him, just didn't know why yet. What's with the act, Alan? Why? Then a movie quote popped into Deculin's head. He told Alan, stick to me like glue from now on. Keep friends close, enemies closer. Class, gotta watch him to bust that fake persona. Breaks over. Back to the grind. Next, agenda. That creep, the blood shroud priest. Deculin knew this was gonna be super tricky. This wasn't gonna end pretty. Immediately, some guy starts raging and banging the table. It was Ben, head of the bad crew. Called the Crimson Race cheap trash. Said they hide eggs in society like a plague. Gross. Essential asked, you got receipts for that, Ben? Since nobody can even tell who's Crimson anyway. Still, some dudes at the meet were like, let's just invent a detector. They wanted those guys wiped out. Ace Essence stepped in. We talking genocide. Really? Told everyone to watch their mouths. Deculin just sat there watching. Already, everyone knew this topic was going to be a total drama fest from the start. But Don was super salty, saying the Crimson Gang is linking up for some reason. He swears they've got a boss now, even if their master plan is still a huge mystery. Essential clapped back, calling his theories total nonsense. But the other bigwigs just sat there, some vibing with Baden's rant. Baden asked if Essential wasn't even a little bit sus about it all, claiming her stalling had already got a bunch of mages killed. Glethaean finally jumped in, asking for Deculin's hot take on the drama, since his fam is famous for busting both crimsons and demons forever. Deculin knew that as a top-tier Slayer heir, he totally understood the assignment. Blind rage without using your brain just leads to bad luck, he figured. Even if blocking the Crimson crew wasn't doable, they had to stall on making dumb, rash moves, because he knew he had way bigger fish to fry later on. Real talk, the world's actual villain wasn't the Crimson Squad. Chill as ever, Deculin admitted the Crimson were ops back in the day, but after checking the history books, he realized it was all a mix-up. He said 237 years ago, a lady was wrongly framed as a witch. That one messy moment sparked a huge crackdown, and loads of Crimson folks got axed for no reason. So they fought back, and the blood feud just kept spiraling. He also brought up the drama from 60 years back. Total power play. It happened right after they found a fancy magic gem mine on Crimson turf. Baden laughed, saying it's rich coming from him since his fam stole that mine. Plus, he wouldn't stop yapping. The Crimson have nasty demon vibes in their DNA, said Demon Hunter Pros, like the Yokalines should spot that instantly. Deculin clarified his fam's job was always wrecking demons, not Crimson peeps. Still, Baden wouldn't quit, swearing they're demons for sure. Deculin dared him to own that claim if he was really so sure. He warned that, run mouth like that turns you into the monster you fear. Meet Nova, no winner. They shelved the chat to argue about it some other time. Later, Glethaean told his kid it sucked to split, but promised a reunion soon. He checked if she could handle solo life. Sylvia, totally shook, asked what his deal was. Like, don't teens my age usually get their own space anyway? Glethaean just shrugged, saying, see ya tomorrow, like it was nothing. He said Birch kids have crazy mana, so weird magic stuff happens at night. Because of that, dude told her, read the fine print. Girl. Sylvia was like, chill, I got this. Later, she flopped on her bed, skimming that creepy rule scroll. Total scared tactics for kids, she thought. TL, doctor, to sleep. Still, for vibes, she'll cast a quick spy spell on the room. Once she'd totally crash out. Thirst woke her up. Stepping past the magic ward, reality decided to glitch out. The hallway morphed into a totally different, creepy vibe. Sylvia froze. Did I just break something? Digging through her memory, one rule hit her hard. Once you hit the sack, do not wander till sunrise. So, yeah, she totally failed that one. It warned that night wanders get warped to weird places. And boom, she was stuck in a dimension trap. She'd never dealt with this level of crazy, but the magic here was thick soup because of the elders. Sylvia realized she'd been way too dumb to ignore the red flags and leave her room. She tried to keep her cool in this horror show, then she totally lost her chill. Evil vibes spiked, so she bolted till she hit some stairs. The hotel's one floor. Stairs. Huge red flag. Rule said, see stairs? Don't climb. Just don't. Sprinting. She spotted an open door ahead. Rule 2. Open door at night. Don't peek, run. Sylvia was fighting off a major freak. Desperate, she banged on the door, begging for help. But rules say, hear knocking, stay silent. So, silence. Then, a door opened anyway. It was Professor Deculin, looking scary chic. He's like, you lost, and just waved her in. Turning red, she mumbled about getting lost. Deculin said crazy magic glitches happen 'cause spirits get loopy on the mana. Then he threw shade. Follow the rules, kid. Sylvia thought, does his face ever move? Total poker face? Nothing fazed this guy. Maybe his fancy bloodline let him bypass the rules. Honestly, without him, she would be stuck in that glitch forever. Suddenly, a ghost rushed them. He said, "Chill." He mind-controlled Blades and deleted the ghost. Sylvia's jaw hit the floor. She asked, "Can you kill what's already dead?" Declan shrugged. "Chill. No big deal. Just a niche spell for zapping that specific creep. Not a flex, really. Wasn't even meant for combat." While peeking at the prof's mana, Sylvia spotted a wild mix of vibes inside. Fire, lightning, metal, and whoa, goblin. Fire. Impressed, he gave her major props for catching all that, but Myth realized he wasn't even looking at her. She briefly considered messing up just to make him look. Then he spoke up. "Good job," but he roasted the unstable air-fire combo she made. Puzzled, Sylvia asked, "So, what's the glitch exactly?" He hit her with a "figure it out yourself." She whined, claiming he totally spoon-fed Eferin the answer. "Nope," he corrected. She unlocked that achievement solo. He told her to chill good things, take time, keep grinding, and the level up happens automatically. Just take baby steps. You'll get there. She was one of the top 3 geniuses worldwide. Anyway, Sylvia went quiet, letting that sink in. Her whole life, people had hyped up her go-tier skills. Future Archmage, they said, too OP for her age. Heard it a million times. Always sounded like fake simp noise. But he hit different. His words actually carried real weight. Night walks were banned, so he guarded the desk while she crashed. During his watch, he picked up a weird vibe outside. Time to investigate. Realized his wealth magnet cheat code just kicked in. Since the mountain was a no-go zone, rare loot had to be near. While strolling, a local ghost tried to jump scare him. Deculin kept walking. Zero reaction. Ghost kept trying, but he kept his stone-cold poker face. "Totally chilly," asked the ghost. "Sorry to interrupt. Seen any epic loot?" Freaked out by his robot vibes, the ghost ran away crying. Moving on, he finally spotted the goods. A fragment of a mana tree, freshly fried by lightning. That wood was already magic, but after getting purified by the zap, it became a steer crafting material. Inspecting it, he realized this loot was actually insane. Since spawning in this new world, he'd been grinding non-stop. He was freaking out, cause his skills were mid. But with this loot, a new wand could boost his magic XP fast. This haul was way better than he thought he'd get. Next day, the meeting vibes were super awkward. Baden yelled that Crimson Blood was totally demon juice. To him, them being demons was the only deal. Decalen called that total trash. He roasted him, put sugar in water. Baden claims it's just sugar. Their beef shocked all the wizards there. Folks thought he was backing the enemy team. Glon asked what Doolin was trying to prove. Sylvia bet everyone thought Doolin's defense was just a shady plot. But actually, they were wrong. Decalen was just spitting facts. The boss cut it off since they couldn't agree. He said they'd talk Crimson stuff later and told him to skip to the next topic. They zoomed through the rest of the list. Days later, it ended. Benin, super salty, shoved past Doolin. He felt he grinded hard for the mission, but only ended up making everyone hate him. Next day, Decalen and Alan hit a magic shop downtown. Dec decided to DIY a staff before bouncing, but didn't know what to mix with the mana wood. While he thought, Alan spotted someone cool. He said that lady saved his bacon. He only got to the meat cause of her. It was Lilia, the security VP, shopping there too. Weird. To say thanks, they asked her to grab food. At lunch, she said thanks but brought up drama. She had to grill them one last time for her case. She asked what went down with Von D. Calane, said he died. When grub came, they ate without talking. Lilia watched Dec, wondering why he seemed new. She remembered a moment back at Back then, she told Lockhart, he'd go to mega jail for wasting all those mages. She asked if he cared, but saw he was spaced out, saying the mess made folks quiet. Still, Lilia told him to pop his skill. When he did, the room went crazy. Lilia called him dumb for ruining their fams. Rep more. She said, chill out. She admitted she'd off him if he was out. She was like, if we do that, the haters just win and get stronger. Lockhart side-eyed her, asking if she could really chill here as a Crimson. Lilia was all, if we keep it low-key, we're good. She swore, the only diff between them is where they spawned. Lockhart called Cap. We got demon powers, fam. That's why folks panic. Lilia snapped. That tons of Crimson ain't even got the magic. Plus, attacking Deculin was dumb, since they were already stalking his fit. Lockhart goes, you gonna off him too? Lilia said, they're just watching. But hinted if that jerk keeps acting sus, she'll end him later. Lockhart wasn't vibing. Said Decalen is a total gigachad. No need to slay. Lilia gag. You crazy? You know his crimes are endless, right? But Lockhart just thought Decalen had mad drip. Recalled him looking epic saying Crimsons aren't demons. Back then, Decalen's face was full of hype, zero doubt. Total boss. If more nobles were that cool, maybe world peace would be real. Plus Decalen spared him, even after finding out his secret. But Lilia was salty. Couldn't forget his fam literally committed genocide on him. Lockhart admitted he didn't know, but if they judge Deculain like his dead ancestors, they're just as toxic as the haters. Lilia told him to quit acting smart, but he asked how long she can fake her identity in that job. Lilia admitted she can't hide forever, said you can't spot a crimson by looks or blood. Lockhart brought up their weird food allergies. Lilia just said she skips those snacks. Easy. Still, the Emperor's messy. New king coming. Gotta watch his vibe. Till then, stay low-key. Told Lockhart to zip it and stay in jail. Lilia still didn't get why Deculain was special. She didn't see the true noble vibe at all. To her, he was just another toxic loser. Suddenly, some guy walked up smelling like booze. Deculain was like, "Why are you here? Go away." It was Ehilm, the blonde dude lurking nearby. Ehilm said he was dying to ask him something from his dark, edgy heart. Meanwhile, Julie was so shook she made the scared knight say it twice. She just got word. Varen bit the dust mid-mission. Julie yelled, "Prep everything. Stat." She needed Deculain to spill the tea. The second he got back, cut to Lilia, eyeing Helm, wondering if he was Rewind crew. Her brain just kept looping on what the deal was with them. Helm was like, Deck has been acting totally whack all week. He was dying to know why Deck went rogue, even risking major beef with houses. He asked, "Is Deck seriously terrified of the Crimsonborn?" Lilia gasped, trying to process this sudden tea spill. Helm brought up receipts. Deck swore he'd wipe them all out. He called them total trash, unworthy of walking this earth. He even cited some hat posts Deck wrote, bashing the Crims. Then he smirked. Is his new lab assistant a secret Crimson? Alan, eavesdropping hard, piped up that Helm was crossing the line, but Deck was chill. Relax, bro. He roasted Helm, calling his brain moldy cheese. Classic hater. Guys like him just don't get it. He shrugged. Expected, Helm sneered. 6 months to your big show. Or just 3. Let's see how long you can keep faking this nice guy act. Dropping that mic, Helm bounced, leaving Lilia totally shook. She wondered, did Deck actually save them and take the heat? Trusting a guy with his rep was honestly super tough. But maybe Lockhart wasn't just talking smack. Next day, Deck hit up a pro crafter to order a magic stick. Boom. Side quest. Lockhart staff. Done. Step 1. Be famous. Step 2. Find a pure soul or a totally reformed bad boy. Step 3. Bring only the swankiest loot possible. Plus, you gotta bug the artisan at least twice. Rules. Quests crushed. Deck scored a shiny special. Coin in a staff by local Akivan. Old Deck visited him. While grinding this out, a secret hidden quest popped as complete. On the train, Ben glared at Alan, and Deck like a total psycho. He threw major shade all trip, but luckily, no brawl started. Deck thought, thank God this endless ride is finally over. At the stop, Alan stretched like a cat, totally dead inside. He groaned, just one more ride, then we're actually home. I need to see something that isn't frozen white stuff. But surprise, Julie and her squad jumped him at the exit. Heard, you got attacked, she said. Glad you're not toast. Deck guessed, she already knew Varan was history. He sensed folks were salty, he was the only one breathing. Julie mentioned she saw the paper claiming they teamed up to save the day. Just one quick thing, she goes, how did Varen bite the dust? Declan ghosted her for a sec. He almost spilled the tea about Varan's betrayal and their messy day. He meant to drop the deets, but seeing Julie tongue-tied, the truth was totally savage. Julie acts tough, but she's squishy inside. The real story, she'd spiral, taken the L for her minions' so for her sake, he decided to zip it, even if haters gonna hate. Just then, Empire train boarding, now. So he's like, Varen went out with all the feels. Thanks. She dips, telling him to chill. Watching her bounce, he felt like a total clown. Couldn't shake the heavy vibes. Alan's like, those guys. Total mindless monkeys. They got wrecked too, but still giving you the death glare. Deculain just shrugged. Chill. Bruh, they're idiots. Then Sylvia slides up. Why'd you hold back? Excuse me? Payback, she says, tosses a book, and yeets out. Alan's confused, but Deculain's clueless too. This trip was way too draining. Just wanna crash. We'll be home soon, he tells Alan. Meanwhile, Julie's typing up the ambush saga. It said that Prof handled biz and saved the survivor with V. Then, round 2. Train went belly up. That's when Varan got deleted. But the Prof's VIP ride, stuck on a cliff edge, like magic. TL, Doctor. They both tried their hardest. But Varen got wiped out. Bummed. Julie still said, thanks for the info. While she's grieving, guards kept nagging for deets. Like who was actually pulling the strings? But Julie just zoned out at the cliff. Lost my MVP, she sighed. Can't believe he checked out like that. Back at the crib, Uriel was fuming at Deck. He swiped the family card again without asking. We're broke, she whined. Won't last 2 months? Deculain figured the wand cost a fortune. Guess that's what happens when you spend blindly. He knew he had to hustle or the fam was totally doomed. told Uriel he had a killer plan to stack some cash. Hit up the vault filled with pricey junk he bought just to flex. Declan told Uriel to chill, but she raged till the butler grabbed her, eyeing the loot. Declan wondered why this stuff was such a massive vibe killer before, thought they were just boring art pieces for normals. But then it had hit him totally new idea. He could flip this junk for way more moolah. Used Midas touch, staring at his hand like a total weirdo. He felt crazy, but thought YOLO, let's do this. Said he's tossing it all back on the auction block. Called a guy Uriel was like, wait, for real? Claimed he'd tank the value big time. Said they wouldn't even get half their cash back. Declan said, relax and ordered a truck. Checked a fancy Western Vazette, had a serious glow. It was a thing, made with magic and the creator's whole heart. But Midas Touch totally unlocked its beast mode. Flowers inside would literally never die. Plus, they'd mutate and heal anyone nearby. Declan knew the $225 million vase was now too lit to sell. Still, he prepped to ship it all out anyway. Uriel screamed, are you trying to bankrupt us? He said, chill sis, we're making bank. Time to grind. Later at the Academy Club room, the squad played cards. A Fairing won again. Shook everyone. 3 wins. Straight she was on fire. Friends said, close one. But F called it pure cope. It all felt like a fever dream. Poor newbie, hated by everyone since day one. Teachers were jerks too. It was rough. But now, chilling with the homies. F said this club was totally legit. Julie said, watch out, they just look like a normie club. Then a professor barged in, yelling, what the heck? It was Ran and Beck, the toxic duo. Beck whined about useless commoners wasting space. F thought, always hating on us, poor kids. Rand called them a joke and asked what the deal was. Effie felt the cringe incoming. But honestly, she saw it coming. She knew she had to keep her cool and handle it with class. She clarified they filed the paperwork, got the green light, and were legit. Relin snapped, demanding to know who on earth okayed such a lame group, then clocked to Fear and flashed back to her punishment. You again, he sneered. A Fear thought, oh give me a break. Calling her trash, he mocked her attitude and yelled at her to look away. Beck just stood there, grinning at the whole show. Rolandair heard a name the person who signed off on it. He claimed no sane professor would ever permit a club like this. Suddenly Deculine showed up, announcing he was the one who did it. He asked Roland if he had any issues with his decision. Even Ephraim was totally shook to see him standing there. Deculine noted Roland's shouting was waking the dead and asked again. Problem, he said Roland should have asked him first before trashing the club. Deculine sighed, internally. This was headache number 2, today. First, Ariel bugging him. Now this mess, right when he arrived. Worst of all, he had to deal with this gross dude. Relin backpedaled fast, claiming that wasn't his point. He stuttered that the room looked cheap and mages deserved fancy gear. Seeing students in such a dump broke his heart. He swore to pay for a total makeover. Declan called him generous, agreeing the place was looking dusty and old. Relon nodded, promising to give it his personal VIP treatment. Beck practically had a heart attack when he heard that news. He was completely floored. Deculine muttered that pests stay pests, then said he was taking off. Beck stayed quiet, trying to copy Deculine's cool, stoic vibe. By next period, everyone was gossiping about Professor D. It had been forever since he taught, apparently due to some hearing. Plus, wild rumors were flying about that mage dying on a train. Deculine shushed the room and announced class was starting now. First up, Pure Elements and How to Mess with Others' Magic. He said interference happens when you crash another mage's spell. Before diving into the boring theory stuff, they'd warm up. Alan brought a box of gems. Deculine used magic to float a crystal over to every single student. He stated that every single stone was worth a whopping 3,000 coins, and he'd hold them up with his mind. Their mission, snatch the rock by hacking his magical grip. Succeed, and you keep the crystal, plus the 3,000 coins. Broca Farron almost screamed, thinking what that cash meant to her. Deculine noted, for mages, blocking hacks is just as key as hacking others. He told them they needed to spot the perfect second to strike. Told the squad to go beast mode, so they could find their true mojo. The whole class kept grinding, sweating buckets to nail the assignment. Profty mused. Moved a train once, but basic lifting, new skill unlocked. He cranked up the power just to vibe check. This new cheat code, plus, he was itching to see how long he could tank hits from 150 new. Wanted to check his HP bar against all that. F was low-key stressing about the price of magical loot. Academy gear costs a kidney, and she was totally broke. So when Professor tossed out free mana stones, she was shook. She wasn't the only one thirsting for that shiny rock. Sil was keen to, recalled Professor saying F was, that got Sylvia even more fired up in the way she's losing to a scrub like F. While those two had a laser in it to win it, the others were about to pass out. Some were so cooked they couldn't even stand. Alan watched, like Prof's magic is totally open. D wasn't even sweating versus 150 kids. And 0 people could glitch his spell. Even D was shoot. Didn't think they'd try hard this much? Expected slackers, but got kids with nosebleeds from the grind. Suddenly, he felt a crystal signal drop. He looked. Sylvia was the first to crack the code. F, despite the hustle, was still buffering. Grats on first place. Sil, said Professor D. Figured she'd win. Nobody else looked close to clutching it. Then Bamanotho one nailed it. F, obviously. Nose bleeding, totally gassed, but she secured the bag. The beef between her and Sil just leveled up. Meanwhile, the rest looked ready for the graveyard. One code, one hurled, another coughed up, red stuff. Seeing the wreckage, Professor D yelled, "Cut it!" Called M-Weak sauce and ordered a timeout, said the janitor would mop up their mess later. Julia was floored. How'd you pull that off? F said she'd die before pulling a stunt like that. Panting, F replied, thought I was a goner too, but mid-grind, I had this big brain moment. Explained she's a total noob at telekinesis. But hacking his magic felt like glitching through a wall. Jules was jelly. Sil, watching, was absolutely livid. Can't believe that flunking commoner got second place. She knew F didn't have any cheat codes activated. Still, she couldn't shake that rumor. Deculine private tutoring Efferine late at night. Sylvia was starting to think he lied. Seriously, what did he see in that chick? Eferine's massive ego just made Sylvia want to scream. Once the room wasn't a wreck, Professor explained the drill. That whole warm-up disaster was actually us trying interference magic. He said blocking his mind powers is easy. The 2 winners knew the trick. It's called mana interference. Fancy name. Teeth said this. Mana hacking? Was totally unlike standard magic jamming. It means slapping a spell down with specific counter to break it, but he also spilled why it's barely used. One kid asked if it's because the move only works if you've got tons of magic circles. Prof nodded. You gotta know the enemy's spell inside out. Plus, it's usually useless since in real fights, shielding or blasting back works way faster. But hey, apparently, we still gotta learn it. He gave a speech about learning through failing. Classic. So naturally, this school's gonna give us plenty of chances to mess this up. The trick is spotting the spell's central circuit to wreck it. That core part changes based on the spell vibe, fireballs, healing, whatever. Basically, hack the spell's main code to shut it down. The professor claimed, if we master this, real combat gets way easier later. So right then, he decided to show us the cheat codes for spotting spell cores. He drew the Stormblade Piercer circle, nasty attack spell, said these boom types always burn from the inside out. Then he breezed through a few other random examples, 2 hours of him doodling circuits. Boring. He checked the clock. Time's up, tons left, but we're done. With that signature icy stare, he blamed us for wasting time. Like it's our fault, rude. The rest of the squad would have to figure it out solo. Good luck. Then he dropped the bomb. Midterms include a practical on this. Better memorize today's lecture or we're toast. Jaws dropped when he just spun around and bailed. 0 chill. Julia snapped. How are we supposed to self-teach this? Efferine's brain was basically but amidst the confusion, she totally had a light bulb moment. She couldn't explain it, but something definitely clicked upstairs. Right then, some guy piped up from behind. Look who it is, the least tragic of the peasants. Beck. That guy lives for drama. Julia whispered that he's been totally unhinged lately, just itching for a brawl. Beck sneered, you guys are breathing too loud for nobodies. He called them annoying, then dropped the real question. Heck, did a loser like you snag second place? Efferine kept her cool. I'd explain, but your brain couldn't handle the update. Beck didn't quit, though. He went full roast mode, mocking her lack of cash, crib, and brain cells. Then he got nasty. What's the secret? Batting your eyelashes at the teach. Efferine felt like she was gonna puke. Beck grinned. Word on the street is you're getting private tutoring from She gasped, totally grossed out. In your dreams, that never happened. But Beck kept pushing, asking how a broke girl got good. Is he going easy on you? Or maybe? He smirked. Decaline gave you a mana stone out of pity. That was it. Efferine sparked up her magic. One more word, and you're toast. Beck laughed. You think you can take me? Julia saw things were going. Sathan jumped in to save the day. Chill? Don't get detention over this clown. Efferine exhaled, remembering Deculane's whole mages must be chill speech. You're right, Jules. She sighed. I shouldn't waste my breath on brain-dead idiots. So, they just ghosted him and walked out. Naturally, Sylvia was lurking nearby. She stuck around just to watch the fireworks. Later on campus, Efferine cooled off, but was still plotting Beck's demise. She was still so mad she wanted to punch a wall over his face. Dealing with snobs is exhausting. Then she bumped into Sylvia, who dragged her aside. Efferine braced herself. Great, another fight. But Sylvia just asked point blank, Are you and Deculane doing private lessons? Farron, sick of the gossip, groaned. Why's everyone obsessed with this? It's insane, she snapped. Me and the professor, we basically hate each other. She was like, no way, total lie. I know zero about that. Sylvia eyed her heart, thinking F might actually be keeping it real. She claimed she bought it, but before dipping, she just had to add, Deculine hasn't touched that lab in 3 years. Not since Dad died, Ethne nodded. Yeah, straight facts. She said the professor could never finish that work solo. Her dad was the genius, not him. But then Sylvia dropped a bomb. She said the guy's back in the lab, every single day for 3 months. He cleaned up, hired a newbie, got fresh gear. Get what that means? Right at that second, Ethne froze. Wait, what? That makes zero sense. Is he swiping her dad's research again? But he's hopeless without him. Still, she took a beat, chilled out, and kept her mouth shut about the drama. She just went, IDK anything about his life. Adding that, well, it's dude's a total enigma. Nobody gets him. Sylvia actually cracked a smile for once before heading out. Before bouncing, she said she just wanted to give a heads up. A few days later in the prof's next session, everyone was hyped for the practical lesson we'd waited ages for. We get there, and Julia looks around like, seriously? We're doing this here? F. Totally. Sus. Also wanted to know what he was plotting. Dude always has insane ideas. Then Beck, the usual chaos magnet, shows up shoving past everyone, even Julia. Zero chill. Before things got messy, the professor shooshed us. Showtime. He's like, told ya, practical lesson today. A real test. The second he snapped, his fingers, curtains dropped, boom, huge crowd watching. Ice cold as always, he says, we're doing this live. F gagged, where'd all these peeps come from? Prof says, we gotta show off combat magic for the fans. Fight each other with whatever juice you got. But there's a catch. You gotta use at least 3 types of pure elemental magic. He warned that winning or losing isn't the big deal here. It's about the brawl, the magic mix, and showing what you learned. The boss is gonna watch everything. The good, the bad, and the ugly. He hopes we actually level up from this mess. Safety first. Rellen's babysitting the whole thing. If someone gets wrecked, he'll handle it. So yeah, no holding back. Go wild. Urian's up first. Step into the ring and pick a victim. Once they were set, the fight kicked off. The next few matches were actually kinda chill. Prof Rein was in full safe-to-monitor mode, while Deculane just stood there judging everyone hard. The class was super awkward at first, totally not used to throwing hands in public like this. But slowly, everyone got in the zone, flexing their own magic skills. When Sylvia stepped up, total domination, easy win. Beck and his rich posse just pointed and laughed, roasting every commoner who flopped. He told them to quit dreaming of the tower and go mow noble lawns instead. Farron, hearing that trash talk, got salty. Big words for losers who couldn't touch Sylvia. Still, she rolled up to Perry, who just got wrecked by Sylvia, and hyped him up. Told him he actually did good. Next up was Beck. Shucka he picked Farron to bully. He never missed a chance to troll her whenever he could, but jokes on him. Farron was thrilled. Payback time. Baby. Beck, being his usual toxic self, asked if she was ready for this, since Teach couldn't save her once the duel started. F smirked, telling him to quit yapping like some stuck-up rich kid, called him ugly, grumpy, and a total Deculane wannabe. She vowed to expose his trash magic to, but Beck didn't chill. He teased her about finding her parents' super low blow, then yeeted a huge fireball. Everyone gasped, but F just stood there. Zero scratch. Beck panicked. His magic circle was acting weird. Farron had that defense on lock. Since arriving, she had one motto: nothing suits a snub like a punch in the face. So she summoned a giant sand fist and launched Beck halfway across campus. He only didn't go splat from the drop class. Professor Rand caught him last second. Good save. Victorious F asked Beck how it felt getting wrecked by her. Avi, she took the dub. Deculane grumbled it ended too fast cause a certain idiot had zero chill. Said nobody even got to see a real fight. Farron seized the moment and asked for a duel. She argued she needed to show off 3 types of elemental magic, but since Beck was such a scrub, she only used one. Deculane sighed. She had a point. The test was incomplete cause of the mismatch. Grading her on that wasn't logical, so he let her pick a new opponent. Without blinking, F pointed at Deculane himself. I choose you. The class lost it. She's officially nuts. Even Professor Rand called it bold, though he kinda dug her style. But yeah, he was definitely shook. Farron totally expected them to freak out though. She knew they thought she was psycho. Didn't care. Rare chance here. She had to fight Deculane, even if the whole school roasted her for it later. Even Deculane couldn't hide his shock at that one. Deculane told Relaine to chill out. Seriously. Then he let F pick whoever she wanted to fight. No rules. So guess what? He stepped up himself. But Ava, Professor can't just Go full tryhard on a new. He wouldn't attack, make me move, and you win. Dude was just gonna stand there like a statue. Silence. Then F charged her mana up. Heart pounding. Finally, a 1v1 against Deck. He said, go. She didn't hesitate. Blasted a wind spell. She knew he was totally open. She totally knew. It was nuts. But she had to check the skill gap. I mean, he was the guy she swore to beat. She mixed wind and fire boom. Surprisingly, he looked kinda impressed. F felt bold. So she tried, mixing an earth to trap him in a huge dust cloud. Prof looked shook. Even Sylvia was paying attention. But then, F's magic started glitching hard. That crust around him just shattered. Dude hadn't moved an inch. Just chill. She threw projectiles, but Nope blocked too. Declan said she had skills, but her power was too loud. He casually canceled her spell again. F tried to cast again, but literally nothing. Frozen her magic was totally brick. Something was deaf, blocking her mana flow. He told her straight up. No more magic. She was shook. How do you turn off my powers? But she had one last trick. Not game over yet. Didn't quit. She charged in to throw hands. Thought a punch might work, but he flicked her to the ceiling. Came crashing. Danhar, wrecking it all. Declan analyzed it. Fire, wind, and earth for a dust explosion. Her magical instincts were actually legit, but she's still a total newbie. Can't pull combos without god-ear control. Her cheat code for elements. The vessel. With that bracelet, she could spam every element. Everyone wants that. Rhea Deculine was honestly kinda freaked out. He walked up, called the match, but said she didn't suck. F was totally shook. Students hyped it, but Deculine just turned and dipped. Class dismissed. Focus up. Squad, tests incoming. Whispers started. Did Teach actually praise someone? Afarian totally crushed it. Beck was salty AF, but Afarian was glowing. Finally, some clout. Even the normies called her cool. Meanwhile, Ganessa chilled at the docks, thinking to herself, been a hot minute, missed the Only Yura hadn't landed yet. FYI, she's that island girl. The Charwoojin's ex-possessed. Chatting with Ganessa, Yura got flashbacks. That flashbang that nuked her senses. Eyes open, real world. Deleted. Now facing Ganessa's crew, Ganessa looked so done. She felt like rage quitting this job. All cause Deculine dragged a kid into this mess. Yura squinted. Wait, I know these guys. Literal characters from her own story. IRL versions. Ganessa walked up. You? Inner Yura clocked Ganessa and the Red Bandolier squad. Yura felt the warmth. Smelled the nature. Yep, she's Euro now. Stuck in the game, she devved. Classic. Then Ganessa, the goat adventurer, swooped her. Yura just wanted to not die. Sticking to Ganessa was the meta strategy. Survival mode on quest, go home. Declan eyed his new loot. Locke's custom wand. Bespoke gear, crafted just for the boss. Item type, special ops wand, holds 500 mana, plus ... boosts spells like a top-tier support rig. And Deculin's aesthetic, it slapped. Ironwood build natural magic amp. The stats on this wood are legendary. It's got auto-learn. Figuring out ... spells solo for max efficiency. Plus, it looks fire. Very important. ... since Deculin's obsessed with style points. Bonus hidden passive named Yucklin Lineage. Demon damage buff goes hard. Price tag, only 9 million. A steal? Almost too cheap. Had him feeling sus? Once he snagged it, he knew. This stick was a total steal. Mid-stare, a helper popped in. Food's ready. You can style. So obviously a massive feast. Uriel Gossett. The bank account's fat. She hated too. Say it, but they were filthy rich. Now, she asked why. Butler said, sold old junk. Deculin's auctions went totally viral. Everything sold for crazy amounts. They were vibing hard, recalling the cash. Bagged enough loot to chill for ages. Butler hinted that was her thanks, since she's too scared to say it, for real. He smirked, that works for me. Red-faced, she was like, glad you get it. Then he roasted her knife. Grip mid. Salty? She just groaned. Ugh. Seriously, back at school, he raged solo. Total mess. He cursed the OG Deculane in his head. Midterms were looking insanely brutal. Making questions was a massive pain. Seeing the old guy's tests triggered him. The questions were straight up helpless. You could smell the ego on the page. Made him hard just to flex on kids. Knew Deculane wasn't about that life. He'd make actually decent quizzes. Tough ones that actually taught stuff. Wanted to actually spark their brains? Prof moves shaped the noobs. He knew. Then he spotted one last junk box. Figured it was empty, boring trash. But inside, totally different vibes. Def not his. Maybe, Epharine's dad's? Still, intense, but actually solid. Made you want to use your brain. Deculane geeked out, studying the logic, and magically tweaked the page. Boom! A sick rainbow popped up. Room lit up, showing a weird figure. He realized if a student aced at all, a cool magic pick would show up. Colors matched elements in harmony. Stoked. Perfect way to teach magic. He was low-key salty. He didn't write that killer question himself. Still, who was that mystery girl in the sketch? Later in the boss's office, the topic of the Crimson-Born popped up at the next meet. Right after Birch had spoken, the director thought it was wild how pure hate made the debate so intense. Totally unexpected, especially given Deculin's take. But the other teachers were just as shook. Meet Adeline, head honcho of the Magic Tower Academy. A mage, so she was basically next in line for Archmage. But her vibe didn't match her high rank at all. Adeline loved roaming the halls, soaking up tea straight from the staff. Her nosy habits and drama addiction had a secret cause. Being Haferi explained her quirkiness and insane power. Haters tried to oust her, but she stood her ground. In the meeting, she asked if Decaline joined the bad guys. See, the Magic Tower profs gather monthly to brief the boss. Formally, that was today. And as usual, Decaline was in the hot seat. Usually, his comeback was asking if she seriously thought a UKan would pull stunts just for clout. But since he skipped, he was just the topic of gossip. A teach mentioned Lady Rowena crashed the Wizard Council. The boss instantly recalled Rowena, head professor, who dipped after some sketchy drama. Everyone thought she was chilling in the kingdom now. Curious, Adeline asked why she'd suddenly bounced back. Roland said she'd obviously returned for a guaranteed gig. Landing in the Magic Tower would give her major perks. Roland hyped up Rowena's wins in the kingdom, hinting that since Declan might be shady, maybe the current boss sucks. The director said she'd think about it. If Rowena returned, this hyped the teachers rooting for her comeback. Then Adeline kicked everyone out and told them to go prep their exam questions. Solo now, she mused on Deculin's recent slump. But this test of his was crazy detailed. Way unlike him, she figured there's no way he did it solo, and maybe she should mess with him a bit. If Rowena showed up, things would get even spicy. Days later, on the Elemental Magic midterm day, the squad was low-key stressing about Decaline's latest nightmare exam. They swore it was impossible, and that the professor was just trolling. With brain-melting questions to make our lives miserable, Alan told everyone to take a chill pill. He got the vibes were off, but said the test format was legit per the syllabus. We had 10 whole days to vibe check this pure elemental magic stuff. Deadline, midnight, on the final Sunday. Talk about a Sunday scary. We'd get solitary private rooms to eat, sleep, and grind. But absolute lockdown. Nothing goes in or out, especially the test papers. Technically, it was an open test. Julia was like, a 10-day open test? Is he for real? Farron groaned that surviving the last quiz was traumatic. Enough and Deculin wouldn't know normal if it slapped him. Alan piped up that Teach dropped one more bomb. If anyone aced it, he'd write a personal rec letter as head professor. Okay, that shut us up. Everyone was shook. A glowing review from the big boss. That is literal gold. Ranks went from number 1, the Eternal, to 11. The debutante, climbing that ladder is basically mission impossible. You don't level up just by showing up or surviving another year. You gotta crush these insane daily promo tests that wreck everyone. Picture being a Monarch rank 4 waving Decaline's golden ticket. That is basically a cheat code for life. An instant level up. A total secret weapon. Farron started daydreaming about snagging a wreck from her arch nemesis. She hated his guts and wanted zero to do with him. But with that letter, she could use it to totally own him one day. She'd use him to outrank him. Farron thought that'd be hilarious. She vowed to get a perfect score just to rub it in his face. Just thinking about it made her do this creepy villain laugh. Julia stared at her like, girl, have you actually lost your mind? By day 4, Farron was dying. This was straight up impossible. 1 hour, 4 hours, 10 hours. Every new question left her brain buffering, just staring at the wall. But, ooga, she had to admit the questions were kinda genius. Solving them was pure torture, like mental gymnastics. But nailing the answer, best spelling ever. Total euphoria. Farron wondered, did Decaline actually write this masterpiece? It hurt to think, but the dopamine hit after solving one was addictive. She was getting that recommendation letter, if it killed her, but right now, she was totally bricked on the final question. She had to bail for fresh air before her brain turned to mush inside. Outside, Sylvia was also crashed, on a bench, gasping for air, like she'd just run a marathon. She said she finally solved one question. After 13 hours, girl needed a breather. Alan's talk about that rec letter was living rent-free. In her head, still, Syl was like, in the end, this grind was basically just doing herself a solid. She claimed Asen it was easy, and zero chance she'd flunk her promo even. But honestly, she just wanted top marks. Not for the letter or clout, but for her own vibes. Solving those cues was actually beautiful. Each needed a unique hack. Crushing them all meant she'd leveled up big time. Mid-thought, F spotted Sylvia, hanging outside. Sil was super nosy about how far her rival had gotten. Bose asked what number you on. At the exact same time, Sil said 8F, was like, wait, you solved it yet? Sil goes, nah, still struggling. F said Sil was she was still stuck on 7. Sil perked up cause 7 was actually a big deal. Thought F was capping, but no time for drama. Nah, had to zoom back and crush that test. F asked, leaving cause of me? Sil was like, nope, her break, totally over. While Tower, kid stressed, Duine felt a major vibe shift coming. Real stuff starting now. Emperor Kabim was in bad shape. Dude was known as a total softie to literally everyone. So he tried to balance the holy stuff and crown power. Also, he never hated on the Crimson-born crew. The real drama, who'd grab the throne when he croaked. New king was going to be a massive deal. And also, totally problematic. Sophia and Yakitorigash, he'd flipped the whole world. Sun rose. Final day of this exam nightmare. Tons of kids already rage quit the exam marathon. The gap between the pros and noobs was getting real. Grades aside, everyone flexed. About taking that test like it was a war medal. Test done, instead of partying. Kids reflected on what they learned. Super weird behavior that shook the staff. Even the tower profs got curious and wanted to peep the questions. Only 2 diehards were still battling. Question 8. F and Sil. F was losing her absolute mind. She'd crack it, even if she drank 50 more coffees. Swore she'd focus just a bit longer. One last push. Then boom, it clicked. Brain blast. Alan pinged the professor, but Decalaine already knew. Someone finally crushed the last question. He guessed. Walked in, told her knew, you had it in ya. He gave props to Sylvia, who was floating in that rainbow glow. The room was totally bursting with pure magic vibes. So chill and cozy that the energy lit up their brain fog like a masterpiece. Even though he cooked up those wicked questions, Deculaine knew he'd never top that gorgeous scene. His old self, Kim Woo-jin, lived in that final puzzle. Woo-jin wanted to art, but had 0 skills for it. He craved making stuff that hit people right in the feels. He grinded hard, and that wish turned into the fancy style Deculaine put into every single quiz. That's why he was all about the glom. Woo-jin's failed art school dream finally felt okay. Here, Deculaine praised Sylvia and said thanks to. As he dipped, Sylvia stared at the magic swirling around. She felt #blessed, just soaking in that view. Suddenly, all the childhood lectures popped into her head. They said she gotta be a top mage cause she had skills, duty calls, and the fam said so. But nah, she realized that wasn't her real drive. She wanted the top spot, cause magic is just gorgeous. Sadly, Afarin ran out of time on the last cue. Alan was like, you rocked it. Only 2 peeps got that far. Afarin asked if Sylvia aced the whole thing. Sylvia herself called that chick a total beast. Before she knew it, her petty plan to crush Deculaine vanished. All that was left was pure mage, curiosity, and a hunger to learn. She just really wanted to crack that final puzzle. Test's over, but she's gonna keep trying for funsies, great or not. Alan grinned and promised to cheer her on. That night, Afarin dragged herself out, totally dead. If she'd answered it all, she'd feel way less cruddy. But now, just a cold bed and probably some drama waiting. Surprise, her squad was there to hype her up. Julia said everyone was fried after the exam and said, let's go grub on something tasty. Afarin got emotional. Julia noticed and was like, you good? Asking if the test sucked, but honestly, got the vibe, smiled, and told the crew to cheer Afarin up.